those two drivers. Among the guys trying to make it into the chase, Hamlin, Burton, Gordon, Martin, and Harvick qualified in the top 5. Casey Kane has to come from 20th. Earnhardt Jr. starts 33rd. Tony Stewart back in 40th. 400 laps on a 3/4 mile track. A chance to race for the Nextel Cup Championship is on the line. Buckle up, Virginia. They're ready to race at Richmond. And a spot in the chase is on the line. Green flag is out on TNT.
Kevin Harvick in that 29 car going by Mark Martin in the 6. Remember back in May, that 29 car was definitely the class of the field. Didn't win, but he almost did.
5 bonus points for Denny Hamlin. Those could be big. You see the ticker at the top of the screen. The green are the guys chasing the Nextel Cup. The yellow, the one guy on the bubble. And just to show you how quickly this can change, right now, because of his starting spot, Tony Stewart is outside the top 10.
Yep, there's to see Tony Stewart working traffic. He's back in 38th. And he'll get by a lot of these guys. I mean, if he's just patient, he'll pick his way through, catch a couple of cautions, erase that distance between him and the leader. He's not out of this thing by any means.
I like what he said. 1 car every 10 laps.
I did too. I thought that was very, very appropriate. And again, I think that's the mentality that he needs to take early on in this race. It may change as the night wears on.
Tell you what, Harvick is taking a look at the 31, and 31 backs off. Let's Kevin Harvick, 29, take the 3rd spot.
Their teammates. And Harvick was great last night.
Oh, man, he just dominated the Busch race. Gets around this place very, very good. 31 dropping back a little bit, AB. What's going on?
Yeah, not to worry at this point, Wally, and nothing from Jeff Burton on the team radio. The one thing that they did talk about earlier today with me, Scott Miller, the crew chief, did, was the opportunity to lead a lap early and collect those 5 bonus points. He said we would like to do that. It would help us in the championship, but we're not going to do anything foolish early in the race to try and get it. The car not sticking as you'd like. It wouldn't stay with Denny Hamlin, so Jeff Burton backing off and trying to settle in line.
29 taking a look underneath the Jeff Gordon. And that's how Harvick's Busch car looked last night. I mean, that car rolled through the center. And if you can get a car that'll roll through the center of the corners here at Richmond, you're going to pass a lot of cars. Then you go down in, you get on the brakes, then you let the car just roll through the center, get on the gas as hard as you can. If you can stay on the bottom and do that, you're going to be strong.
On board with Burton.
Whoa, Burton really pushes up the racetrack. He's going to lose a spot there, or if he doesn't, he's lucky. Mark Martin took a look. That car pushed right up the racetrack.
And there's a hungry pack right behind him. An update on Jeff Gordon from Matt.
Bill, in driver intros, Jeff Gordon looked to be one of the most relaxed drivers getting ready for tonight's huge multi-million-dollar night. Now, Gordon has been involved in so many championship runs. He's won 4, but he's also lost a couple. But he'll tell you, back in '97, when he had to finish 17th or better, and that's pretty much where he ran all night, that was the most stress he's ever been in a race car. He says tonight actually should be more on the fun side, Marty.
Matt, crew chief Pat Tryson for Mark Martin went to all the teams that started in front of him. There were 3. Mark Martin started 3rd tonight, and asked them if they could all lead a lap early in the race. What do you think the answer was, guys?
No.
Yeah, no was the answer. They all tried to work a deal. The crew chiefs all agreed, but 3 of the 4 drivers said no. So they all were going to exchange the lead early in the race. Mark wants those 5 bonus points, just like the guys in front of him. And all these guys are chasers, looking for every point they can get tonight, Bill.
Now he's going to have to earn it then, because these guys are still racing against each other.
And this, you never know, but this might be his best opportunity to get those 5 bonus points because of the good starting spot and very limited traffic in front of him. But it doesn't look like his car has it right now. Up front, Hamlin continues to lead. An update from Dave.
And
And Curtis Markham, his spotter, had been approached by a number of people about leading a lap early. Again, the answer was no. And right now, Denny Hamlin has his 5 bonus points, and he has the line on the racetrack he likes to run low and drive it straight up the corners. Alan?
Dave, there are 2 races to be run tonight for Kevin Harvick. One race for the chase for the Nextel Cup. So while Kevin Harvick is up front, he's staying out of trouble, but this team will play it somewhat conservatively until they know they're in the chase.
Kevin Harvick trying to make it into his first chase for the Nextel Cup. Says the intensity of the chase is not a one-day deal, it's a 7-day-a-week deal.
It's been as intense as ever. I mean, it's something where you go home, or at least I do. You go home and you want to know what you have to do to be in the chase. We've been on the outside looking in the last couple of years, so it's important for us to capitalize on our situation and make that happen. So it's something that there's a lot of pressure on the guys on the team. There's a lot of pressure on the drivers. There's a lot of pressure on the owners. There's that are coming from the sponsors. So I mean, there's pressure all around, whether they want to admit it or not.
Second here in May, a couple of wins this season, 11 top 10s. His worst finish, 17th in 16 races here. Tony Stewart started in the 40th spot, currently 35th in the running order, 11th in the championship standings, and an update from Matt.
Bill just trying to be patient in the early going. Now, right before the green flag, Smoke came on the radio and told his team, more like a coach, said, just do what we always do. We've been in this situation before. The 3 previous times he's had to go to a backup car, he has come home with a strong top 10 finish. That's all they need to do tonight. He said they just have to race 3 other cars. That's all they're concerned. Everybody else, they can do what they want to do, but that's our concern tonight. He's just trying to take it easy, and like his other message on the dash says, just keep the ears of the dog, means take care of those fenders.
A lot of traffic out there. Marty on Matt Kenseth.
Well, Bill, it'd be very easy for Matt Kenseth and this much to kind of take it easy tonight, just ride around the back and really get ready next week for New Hampshire, maybe try some things like that. But first, there's a battle for the lead, Bill.
And Denny Hamlin's going to pull over and give it to Harvick.
He watched last night's race too, from his car.
Now, if Harvick can get back to the start-finish line, that's 5 points. 5 huge points.
Exactly right.
But I'm not sure that these guys that are locked in, I guess, I don't know if I'd be giving points up until I was locked in.
You might have seen that Harvick's car was so good, he didn't want him back there.
Yeah. Casey Kane in the 9 car going underneath Stremme in the 40.
Moves into the 13th position, Alan.
Yeah, just on the pace laps before the green flag, Casey Kane radioed into his crew. He said, guys, you've done a good job for me. Let's just go out tonight, do our best, and we'll see what happens. What's happened so far is Casey's picked up 7 spots. He started 20th. He's moved up to 13th.
5 wins this season, still on the outside of the chase coming into this event. Came here 2 years ago trying to make it, didn't get in, got knocked out. Comes in off the win at California. Kane's in 13th.
You know, we had a great shot last night. BP, if you were watching the Busch race of the rotors, this place is really tough on brakes. And we were watching earlier, BP pointed out that that 20 car looked like it had a lot of...
Check that out. I mean, those brake rotors are really, really hot. Well, Tony trying to get through that traffic is using more brakes than, say, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, some of those guys up front. But now that he's cleared a little bit of that traffic, they're still pretty doggone hot.
Yeah, we're only 24 laps into this race. Problem is, too, you're back there in traffic, and you don't get the air to the nose, to the hoses, to the brakes, like you would if you were in cleaner air. So these guys' brakes are going to heat up a little bit more than the guys that are up front and strung out and are getting a lot more clean air to the nose of their cars.
And the drivers won't admit it as much, but you talk to the crew guys in the garage this afternoon, starting 20th, 33rd, 40th, they were definitely nervous about so many things that can happen in traffic and so many things that can happen to your car.
There's no question, when you're back there in traffic, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You know, somebody we saw last night a lot of problems where, you know, guys would check up in front, and then a bunch of guys would run into each other. And that's a problem when you're in traffic like this.
Matt?
Bill Stewart, spotter, Mark Robertson, who's actually from Richmond, looked down, just the view you had as the car went into one, and could see how hot those rotors were, and just cautioned Tony to make sure that he had all the blowers on.
And that's another thing. Drivers got all these switches on their dash, and a lot of those switches are brake blowers and fans that help keep the tire, the inside of the tire, as well as the rotors cooled off. So sometimes you forget when you're on the pace lap, and you always have your crew guys or a spotter remind you, make sure all the pumps are turned on and all the fans are turned on.
Stewart continues to work his way through traffic. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Worked his way up to 25th, started 33rd. Marty?
Yeah, Junior's trying to do the same thing Tony Stewart's doing. He's a little ahead of Tony Stewart. Started 33rd, as you mentioned, Bill, up to 25th. They were concerned about the early part of the race for what Wally mentioned, being in traffic, maybe getting caught up in someone else's wreck, but also because they feel like their car is really set up for later in the race. The car is going to be extremely loose for the first quarter of this race. They feel like the racetrack will tighten up, their car will get better, and that's when they'll be good, when it counts around lap 400.
See how that works out for him. This is for third place. Jeff Gordon in the 24, Jeff Burton in the 31. And as we watch this, keep in mind, Kevin Harvick, the race leader, Tony Stewart in 34th. But Stewart is only about 4 seconds in front of Harvick, 4 seconds away from getting lapped.
Yeah, he does not want that to happen. I mean, once you get a lap down, the leaders will start lapping cars quickly, and you won't be in position for the lucky dog if the yellow comes out because there's so much traffic. So, yeah, Stewart needs to try to stay ahead of Harvick.
Just the beginning of the big night here at Richmond in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400, and the Chevy of Kevin Harvick is out front, complete.
Tony Stewart, I had seen Tony racing with Sterling Marlin in the 14 car, and looks like there's going to be a little contact coming off turn 4.
They had been racing hard for a number of laps.
Don't forget, he knows the 29 was coming.
Good job by Sterling, keeping it off the wall. On board with Brian Vickers.
Corner. Spin it. Hold what you got. Stay up top. Come on, got a yellow.
Leaders to pit road, Matt.
And a two-time Richmond winner, Jeff Gordon, going to make a wedge and a track bar adjustment. The car is tight in the center, but that's not his biggest issue. The loose on exit. He's losing so much time. Marty.
Mark Martin said, man, these tires feel like they're wearing out quickly. A little too tight for Mark. Half round down the right rear wedge bolt, and a quick stop for the 6-punch, Alan.
These pit stops going to be so important tonight. A good, smooth 4-tire change for Kevin Harvick's team, Dave.
Denny Hamlin gave up the lead. Very, very tight race car. Track bar and air pressure adjustment. A little slow. Trouble on the left front. He'll lose positions on pit road.
Boy, it's going to be a big night down there, too. These teams, the guys over the wall, know they cannot make mistakes.
We got Mark Truex Jr. going the wrong way. I guess.
Go forward.
He needs to just go. Come back, or he's going to get lapped.
Well, he'd already left his stall.
Okay.
So he pulls out, gets hit by Kurt Busch, almost got the NASCAR official.
Man.
Those officials on pit road do a great job. The only time you hear about them is when they see a loose lug nut or in a situation like that. They do a good job down there.
Wow, that's like a bullfighter.
Sure. Caution is out. Reset the running order when we come back. Field has gotten the one to go here at Richmond. Take a look at our Craftsman pit summary. Kevin Harvick second after coming in first. Denny Hamlin dropping back. Jeff Burton holding third. Jimmy Johnson was running 17th, did not pit. Jamie McMurray in the 26 car. A commitment cone violation. Has to restart at the tail end of the longest line.
Ready.
Kevin LePage is the lucky dog. Here we go. 40 laps complete.
didn't think Jimmy Johnson would last long with those used tires. Did you, Wally?
No, not the way Harvick's been running around here lately.
And a lot of guys in the garage were talking about it, and the number I got, Benny, was 30 laps. If you have 30 laps on your tires, you have to come to pit road because you are just going to get blown by in a hurry.
Well, we know the 42 works because he got blown away with 42 laps on his tires.
Tony Stewart currently 26th, Earnhardt Jr. 22nd. There you see the championship standings up to the moment. And Burton around Harvick and the 14.
I guess that was 5 bonus points for the 31 car.
Yes, I think so.
Update on Jimmy Johnson from Marty.
Well, Bill, you have to keep in mind the overall goal for the 48 team. They are already locked in the chase for the championship. They're trying to learn as much as they can for the final 10 races, especially next week at New Hampshire. Very similar racetrack, so why not leave them out on old tires just to see what happens?
I don't think you'll want to do that again.
We know what happens.
Yeah, you get past.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 inside of Jeff Gordon. Gordon, of course, teammates with the 48 of Johnson. Marty watching Matt Kenseth, too.
Bill, some developing concern for our championship leader, Matt Kenseth. His brakes already going faulty, he thinks. While you mentioned it earlier, it's a big concern here at Richmond.
Wow, if your brakes are going away this early, Marty, you're in big trouble. You know, you're really hard on the brakes here, and there's not much time to cool them off. See how hard they go into the corner? You're on the brakes really, really hard. Then you get off the brake pedal, let the car roll, get back on the gas. Then you're on the straightaway for a short time, and you hammer the brake pedal again. So if your car's handling really well, you don't use as much brake. You use less brake when your car is turning through the center really good.
But we look at the front rotors on the 17 car, and I don't see any sign of being warm whatsoever.
Well, let's listen to the radio and find out what they said moments ago.
Okay.
I know you don't want to hear about it, but everything worked really good for about 12 laps, 15 laps, and as soon as I was getting ready to pass the 4 car, I started shaking. It just keeps getting worse. So I shut off the rear brake blower, too. I shut everything off. I don't have any blowers on. And the front shake real bad, and the rear's got a real bad grind to it, almost like the pads in backwards, you know, like metal on metal, like a grind, like it's tearing something apart.
Wow. As Matt said, guys, you know, he said he feels like almost like the brakes are in backwards. He said it's an odd feeling, but one thing he did tell Robbie Reiser, I know I cannot drive like this all night long.
And remember, here in May, he blew a rear rotor.
That's exactly right.
And it bounced off the racetrack, went through the oil tank, and he's had a terrible finish.
One of some of these guys with their hair that vibration that the rotors are warping. You know, we heard some of that last night. And these things get so hot, and then they cool down under yellow, and they get so hot. There's a possibility these rotors will warp sometimes, and that's where you get the big vibration.
Kenseth finished 38th here in the spring after the problems that Benny alluded to. Here's your pole sitter, Denny Hamlin, in the 11 car. Dave with an update on Hamlin.
What happened, Bill, on that pit stop for Denny Hamlin to lose 5 positions on pit road? When the tire carrier slammed the tire onto the wheel, the lugs go through the lug nut, and sometimes they pop off. He has to pick it up and put it back on, and one of those lug nuts popped off. He had to hand thread it back on, and that's what cost him time.
That's a hard job down there, especially with the pressure under these guys, Dave. They've never been in this situation before.
You drop something around your house, you can't find it. You drop a lug nut here under pressure, where is it? They usually have a spare one tied to themselves somewhere that they yank off and then put it on real quick, but it costs time.
Those tires weigh about 50 pounds with no interliner, and Benny, you and I talked about it earlier this week. Some of these teams, these pit crews, are in a situation they've never been in before under this pressure.
I mean, they're trying to win $5 million, be in position to win $5 million at the end of the year. We talk about the pressure that the drivers are under. Every man on that team is under pressure.
Oh, good racing right here. Kyle Busch right there in the 5 car. You see Truex back there. He lost a lap, so he is 1 lap down right now.
Right now, Johnson, who was 17th, restarted first, is fallen back to 7th, but is holding his own right here. Hamlin's going to get that spot, maybe. There's Casey Kane in the 9. Allen's got an update there.
Yeah, a nice stop for his team. He's got Casey up to 10th place now and moving forward. That's what he needs to do tonight. Although Casey did call in on the radio a little while ago, said he has a strange feeling when he turns the wheel. The team said, all right, we'll keep an eye on it.
You're feeling, when you're, all the Chase guys are feeling all these little things right now.
And they're hearing voices.
They're hearing voices.
Now let's drop back. Tony Stewart is back in the 27th spot. Started 40th. The caution came out when Sterling Marlin went around off the front bumper of Tony's car. The leader, Kevin Harvick, inside of 4 seconds behind Stewart at the time.
Of course, I would do the same thing. I mean, you're talking about the Chase here. Would Tony Stewart say, no, I didn't do that on purpose? Well, he'll probably tell you that, but hey, you're talking about the Chase. If you got to dump somebody, you got to dump somebody.
Was working hard trying to get by Marlin, couldn't get by, then just moved him out of the way. Jeff Burton is the race leader at Richmond. Around his teammates, so Kevin Harvick back to the point. Jeff Burton to second. Both those drivers have gotten their 5 bonus points. You see Tony Stewart, who was in the box in the corner there, running in the 25th spot. But he is only about 6 seconds in front of Jeff Burton.
Kevin Harvick now.
Kevin Harvick, correct, after the lead change.
The thing is, too, when you're in Tony's situation, Harvick is running good laps. He's not hurting the car. He's not pushing the car. I would think Tony Stewart's probably running the car a little bit more aggressive, obviously, because he knows Jeff Burton's coming. So he's probably using his car up a little bit more. He's probably using those brakes up a little bit more because he's trying to get by a lot of these guys. He's having to go in a little bit deeper, a little bit more brake. We'll just have to see how that plays out over the next 25 laps.
There's Tony.
And now Tony Stewart has what he's been wanting, some green, clean racetrack in front of him. He can take the entire racetrack and don't have to worry about using up his car.
That's through turns 3 and 4. So he comes out of 4.
There's Harvick right there. About 5 seconds, maybe?
Just about. And there's a lot of traffic in front of Tony after he gets through that little bit of clean space he's got there, BP.
There's the 1 car of Truex Jr. trying to get by Jimmie Johnson. Don't forget, Martin is 1 lap down. And Martin needs to catch the 14 of Sterling Marlin and get by him if he wants to be in a position to get his lap back.
Right now, the top 8 drivers on the track are all trying to make the chase for the Nextel Cup. Kenseth is one of them. He's locked in. Johnson second in the championship standings. Edwards 4 wins a year ago, none this year.
I know Truex was working Johnson for a long, long time. Finally got past him. See Carl Edwards getting underneath him, going down into turn 1. Car gets a little bit loose on Carl. He starts sliding up the racetrack, and he runs right into the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. And he just tells as he goes down in there, the car just gets sideways on him. And they didn't really hit anything too hard, so there's really no damage.
If you got to hit the wall, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Pit road's open. Here they come. Kyle Petty is the lucky dog. Matt.
And the 24, Jeff Gordon, pulls to a stop. He says he's lost all of his drive off the corner. Steve Letarte calls for another track bar adjustment. Down 2 rounds to tighten him up. Marty?
Mark Martin's holding up his end of the bargain, running 3rd right now. That would put him in the championship. Car just a little bit snug, quarter round in the right rear, Alan.
Air pressure adjustment for Kevin Harvick to help him turn in the corner. Also trying to pull some tape off the grill. The 29 running a little warm, Dave.
Kyle Busch picked up 3 positions on that last run. He's already leaving pit road. No adjustments to a car that was just a little bit free off the corner. Milt.
Harvick he lost a little time leaving his pits there, BP. It looked like he was blocked by somebody. That just second he had to hesitate, he lost the lead to Kenseth.
That's right. When he backed off the throttle, he lost the lead.
Same thing happened to him on his first pit stop, too. Crew cam, BP.
Jeff Merkel, Jackman for Greg Biffle. Car goes up. Rear tires off. Check out the front. Okay, we're good. Let's go around to the left side. Car is up. Check it out. Front, rear, go. He does it. Car looks as dominant now as it was then.
I think Harvick needs about 5 or 6 laps before his car really comes in and it gets enough pressure in those tires to make the move.
Tony Stewart came in 22nd, currently runs 17th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in 13th. He's currently running 12th on the racetrack. As you saw by that graphic, Casey Kane is now on the outside looking in.
And Tony Stewart's crew, we got to give a call out to those guys because they have done a terrific job. Every time they've made a couple of pit stops and every time they pit, they pick up Tony 5 or 6 spots.
And I think they made that car better too, BP, because it looked like after things settled down, Stewart's times were as good as the leaders. Took a little while, but...
And that all started yesterday, Benny, when they got the backup car off the truck. Their whole attitude was terrific. They knew what they had to do. They were down there working on it. They were in a good frame of mind. They knew they had a lot of time. Not much time to practice, but a lot of time to get the car ready. Matt, you were down there for that.
Bill, you can see that really they have been through this type of situation before. They've been through championships before. They've won 2. Greg Zipadelli says you could see it on the faces of his guys. They did not panic, and that was the biggest thing from that practice session. Right now, Smoke's lap times are similar to what the leaders were right before that caution. They made significant adjustments again, trying to get this car to roll through the center of the corner better. It was just way too tight. They made a huge track bar adjustment, trying to free the car up. Currently, the 20 team is in the 14th position, really moving up.
All the guys back at the shop that work on this car, the guys in the engine department, the guys here at the track, they're represented by the 7 men over the wall for Tony Stewart. Let's meet them.
Greg Zipadelli, Berlin, Connecticut.
Tom Dean, Long Valley, New Jersey.
Ira Joe Hussey, Manchester, New Hampshire. Jason Lee, Willimantic, Connecticut.
Jody Fortson, China Grove, North Carolina.
Todd Foster, Birmingham, Alabama.
Jeff Patterson, Escondido, California.
Brian Larson, Escanaba, Michigan.
The over-the-wall gang representing everybody on that 20 team for Home Depot and Joe Gibbs Racing, trying to get this 2-time champion back into the chase for the Nextel Cup. Clint Boyer, the 07. Jeff Gordon in the 24. Casey Kane in the 9.
I'll tell you what, that Dave Blaine in the 22 car has an excellent run going tonight. Every time you look up, he's right in the lead pack. Now he's got Junior in the 8 car right on his back bumper.
He looked good last night.
And Boyer's going to take that. Hold the spot. Well, he had it that lap. He said as soon as you roll through the center and get by a guy, you got to be able to be clear and move up like right now.
More on Kane from Allen.
Yeah, Bill had his crew make an adjustment on the last pit stop, trying to help his car right there, driving off the corner and up onto the straightaways. Casey looking to see if he can move up around some of these guys that he needs to pass for his place in the chase and get some more points in his column, though it's still very early. Matt?
Ray Evernham will tell you, the owner of the 9 car will tell you that he's very proud of the legacies left in the sport with the crew members up and down pit road, especially Chad Knaus and Steve Letarte. Now recently, Knaus and Letarte were going through a storage building at Hendrick Motorsports and came across the original Rainbow Warrior checklist. They took it and sent a very meaningful note to Ray Evernham, thanking him for all that he had done for them. And BP, that shows you that not only are they true racers, but they have so much respect for Evernham, who's been such a motivator for so many guys up and down pit road.
And Matt, we talked about that today, and you're right, the word is respect. And they all respect Ray Evernham for what he's been able to do in this business.
Now Boyer's got to drift up in front of the 24.
And Casey Kane's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to go. And Casey Kane was just waiting for somebody to do something because he couldn't go anywhere. So now Casey's going to work underneath the 07 of Boyer, see if he can make the pass. He thinks his car is better.
Ray Evernham, the former crew chief for Jeff Gordon. Now the car owner for Casey Kane, Elliott Sadler, and Scott Riggs. Matt, something up with the 24?
Well, Bill, coming into this weekend, Gordon's 3 previous Richmond finishes were 30th or worse. High expectations after qualifying 3rd, but on the first run tonight, he said something is starting to vibrate. And about 10 laps ago, he said, the more I use the brakes, the more they vibrate. drive rate. Steve Letarte told Gordon, all we're concerned about is making it to the final 100 laps, and then it's game on from that point. But we have to survive and just run our race. Right now, he's just trying to hang on.
They're going to have to figure something out with them brakes. I don't know if they have more tape they can pull off the nose and the openings. They have some of those brakes covered a little better. They got to clean them better. But boy, I mean, you have what you have. If those openings are wide open right now, that's all the air you're going to get to those brakes.
Earnhardt Jr. trying to get the spot. And the points. Gordon slams the door there. Just a quarter of a way into the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Matt Kenseth is the race leader at Richmond. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Panic in the 24 pit of Jeff Gordon, or with their current position in the points. At this juncture, they are sitting 5th. But the car, he says, the brakes are just killing me. The car is not so free on exit, but we have really made the car a lot tighter in the center of the corner. Meanwhile, 2 positions back, Tony Stewart, the 20 cars, never finished out of the top 10 in the championship points. Right now, he says they are making huge headway. We have a car in the wall on the racetrack.
Martin Truex Jr.
I think I've got a right front tire now, guys.
We stay under green. And now the caution is out.
Caution is out.
And I can tell you that Chad Blunt and Morgan Shepherd are officially out of the race, and Kevin Harvick has clinched a spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship here in 2006. So Harvick is mathematically in. Kenseth, Johnson, and Harvick will be 3 of the guys chasing the championship here in 2006.
There he is. Welcome to the chase, Kevin.
And we have a pretty good idea how he's going to do in the Busch Series championship race as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Got about a 6,000 point lead over there or something.
He won that a month ago.
Won here last night, and now has clinched a spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Currently runs 3rd on the track. And pit road is about to be a very busy place again. The field behind the high-performance Chevy Impala SS pace car. They dive off. Matt Kenseth leads the parade down pit road. Matt, here they come.
Clay Robinson, the front tire changer, on the wall waiting for Gordon. Meanwhile, keep an eye on his big tire carrier, Mike Houston, former NWA Mid-Atlantic World title holder for 2 months. The big tire carrier, they're going to make a chassis adjustment. He says the drive-off is just killing me on this 24 car. Marty?
Not a word about the brakes recently from Matt Kenseth. He said his car needs to cut a little bit better in the middle of the corner, a little too tight there. Half round up on the track bar, Alan.
Wedge adjustment for Kevin Harvick. His car not turning as well, getting into the corner as he'd like, and not driving up off the turn as he'd like, Dave.
And Kyle Busch already having left pit road. A great pit stop for them. No changes to the chassis setup on the car. Kyle's very happy with the car right now.
That was a fantastic pit stop for the 5 bunch.
Yeah, he ought to be very happy with the pit crew, not only the car, but the pit crew.
So Kyle Busch wins the race off of pit road. 121 laps complete here at Richmond. The happy guys on Kyle Busch's crew. He's the race leader at Richmond. Right now, that's Casey Kane.
Well, I gotta tell you, that 29 car of Harvick's does not run on the bottom of the racetrack. Although I say that, and he's running pretty well on the bottom of 1 and 2, but most time he's up higher.
It looks to me like, BP, it takes some time for that car to come in. And when it does come in, he does move up a little bit.
Burton is behind Harvick. There's Mark Martin in the 6th, Greg Biffle in the 16. Biffle is 7th. And Harvick has clinched his spot. You saw it on the graphic. He's in the chase. Now he tries to become the 3rd driver in a row to sweep the weekend. Car in trouble off of turn 2. Martin Truex Jr. again.
Go to the garage, Martin. Go to the garage. Nice and easy around the corner here. Turn into 3 and 4.
That's a shame because he had such high hopes for this 1 car tonight.
The lucky dog is Sterling Marlin. Under the previous caution, Jamie McMurray was the lucky dog. So Sterling will come around and put 37 cars on the lead lap. Working our fourth caution of the evening here at Richmond. Martin Truex has brought out the last two. Kyle Busch is the race leader. He's all of 21 years old. He's trying to clinch a spot in the chase. Then he sets out after the Nextel Cup Championship. Still under caution here at Richmond. 131 laps are complete. Now let's take a look at pit road, the last set of pit stops. Let's watch the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, first of all, when he comes in the pits, he's not able to get in his box all the way because of the Clint Boyer car. But everything's going along smooth so far. Right side, both guys finished. Right front, a little bit slow.
Looks like he might have had to hit a lug nut a second time.
Might have.
We're trying to count the hits.
So we see that the left front is a couple of seconds slower than the rear, and a 14.8, and that's not going to get it done on pit road tonight.
And this was Earnhardt's reaction.
They're really hard to pass. You got to do better on pit road, guys. Info, we'll work on it. I know you got it in you. Shake it off.
Marty?
Yeah, and guys, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came on, and he wasn't chastising the crew so much. He's just saying it's really hard to pass out here. And when you see someone in front of you, like Matt Kenseth, have a 12-second stop, that makes you very frustrated. What happened, Bill, you got exactly right. They missed a couple of lug nuts on the right front, and they came around to the left front, and the same exact thing happened. Missed a couple more, and that split second cost them a lot of spots on the racetrack.
Under caution here at Richmond, Kyle Busch is the race leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs in 14th. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT. The Chevy Rock and Roll 400 on TNT is brought to you by Team Chevy. 25 of the last 34 NASCAR manufacturers championships and counting. Chevy, an American revolution. By DirecTV. If you don't have DirecTV, see what you've been missing. Call 1-800-DirecTV today. By Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. And by Napa. Get the good stuff. Napa. Lights are out on the pace car. Coming to get the green flag in a little less than half a lap. Championship standings after 136 laps tonight. Kenseth, Johnson, and Harvick are in. Right now, Casey Kane out. Pace car to pit road. Green flag in the air. Kyle Busch, the race leader. Trying to close on Busch, and Harvick all over Kenseth.
You know, whatever's dragging on that 17 car is going to wear itself out pretty soon.
Eventually, you would think. He's been doing it quite a bit. You see Kenseth and Harvick taking two totally different lines through 3 and 4 and out of 4. Harvick's has been running a little bit lower on the track than the 17 has. I'll tell you what, they're both gaining on the leader, Kyle Busch.
It's on board with Harvick on the right. Thinking about going under Kenseth.
Kenseth went in there pretty deep that time. He went in there really hard, got on the brakes, and the car pushed up the track. 29's going to take that spot away, and there's Burton joining the fight. The 31 car. Kevin Harvick going to work there.
Little wave out the window to Matt Kenseth. More on Harvick from Allen.
Yeah, Bill, now we're showing Kevin Harvick as locked in to the chase for the Nextel Cup. I talked to his crew chief, Todd Berrier, under the caution. I asked Todd, I said, I haven't heard you tell Kevin that over the radio. He had a great big smile break out on his face, and he said, I think I'm going to wait a little while, let a few more drop out of the race, and we'll tell him a little bit later on. Now, Kevin told me, as he tries to get the lead here, he really didn't want to know for a while in this race that he was locked in, because he didn't want it to change his mindset on how he pursues tonight.
I think I'd want to know, BP. I think I'd want to know, because I would have a lot more fun trying to win this race if I knew.
Exactly. I would want to know immediately.
Right now he knows he's in front. Kyle Busch to second. Might try and come and get that spot back, Dave.
And Kyle Busch's spotter, Jeff Dickerson, told him it's early in the race. We're playing nice. Go ahead and let him by. We'll get him back later. And Kyle's been very relaxed during that last caution, talking about other things like fantasy football trades and things like that.
Jeff Burton got around Matt Kenseth for third, so Matt's back to fourth. And this has been a good battle since the green flag came back out. Mark Martin in the 6, the 9 of Casey Kane.
There's that 22 again, BP. Dave Blaney. He had a good run last night in the push race.
An update on Martin from Marty.
He's been hanging in the top 10 all night long, Bill. And the early part of the run is where Mark is really strong. Late in the run, the car gets hard to turn, especially from the middle of the corner off. And that's a killer here at Richmond. You've got to have power from the middle of the corner off. Alan?
We've talked about Casey Kane having trouble running the bottom of the racetrack. His crew continues to adjust on the car. You see him there going low to try and pass Mark Martin. They made an air pressure adjustment on the last pit stop, hoping to give Casey the full use of this wide Richmond track to try and keep picking his way up through the field.
Well, he tried it. He just couldn't pull it off, and he was down at that bottom. He's going to take a look again here. And you really, like I said, you have to roll through the center and be able to really beat the guy through the center in order to drift up and get in front of the guy getting off the corner. You see, he's really good right here. Is he going to have enough there to pull in front of him? Yes.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Bill.
How about Dave Blaney?
Yeah, I was just asking to talk about him for a second because he is having a great run. Blaney and this team have struggled this season. Their best finish all year at 13th up in New Hampshire in this very chassis. Blaney right now in the top 10. He's been running in the top group all night long. He started 15th, Bill. And here's a group the whole team could really use a top finish.
Had a 7th place finish in the Busch race last night and a very strong car and a good effort out of Blaney. Right now running 9th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 11th on the racetrack. Looking at that high groove. Now, Marty, you're working on something with this bunch, right?
Yeah, well, chassis-wise, they're awesome, Bill. The high lines come in. Junior loves that high line here. That's what he used to win the race here in May. But there's a developing issue that Junior warned the crew about under the last caution. He said, guys, for some reason, on restarts, my transmission is slipping. That could be a tremendous problem later on. Junior said, get an extra transmission ready because we may need to change it.
Not what the Junior fans wanted to hear, or his crew.
No.
He runs in 11th, and this has been a mess for a few laps here. And now they've almost got it.
They got it sorted out. They were pretty stacked up there for a while. I mean, but they're still going. This is a lot of cars racing for position here. About 24th in that area. Got Sorensen back there, Nemechek, Scott Wimmer in the 4 car. There's Kurt Busch. And I mean, they had been going at it like it was for the lead.
I looked up, they were 3 wide coming off of 2, weren't they?
Yeah, it was for a couple of laps.
Jimmy Johnson is just ahead of this pack. In 20th, Jeff Gordon in 17th.
Elliott Sadler, the 19 car, and we got a race going on for the lead.
Kyle Busch trying to recapture the lead.
Oh, he's going to try this high line.
The lap car of Chad Chaffin, the 61.
Oh, and it looks like Harvick may be blocked. He does. He gets blocked on the low side, so Kyle can scoot around the outside. He's got it.
So Kyle Busch back to the lead. 21-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada. Yesterday in the garage area, Kyle was talking to a group of reporters. They asked him, what's the difference in his team this year making the chase as opposed to last year? He said it has nothing to do with the driver. He gave total credit to his crew and to the organization at Hendrick Motorsports. And here was Jeff Gordon's reaction to what Kyle said about giving credit to Hendrick Motorsports.
I think that says a lot about Kyle's maturity and how far along he's come, and I'm proud of him, you know, for saying those types of things. I think it's important, you know, to recognize how important your team is, your car is. But let me tell you, he's a great talent, and I've told it to his face. I try not to do that very often. I don't want to get his head too big, but I've told a lot of people that we're very fortunate at Hendrick Motorsports to have him. He's a great talent.
And there's a feeling in the garage area that if Kyle does make the chase, he will certainly be a strong contender for the championship. Dave, you got more on this?
and his crew feels the same way as Jeff Gordon does. In fact, Car Chief Craig Smokestad told me earlier today, lately, Kyle Busch has been awesome, both in car feedback, what he says about his race car, how they work on it, and people feedback. He said he's been thanking us more, and we feel more like helping him. Remember that great pit stop they had earlier? That's motivation that Kyle gives them.
Tony Stewart had an up and down night, currently runs in the 13th spot. Matt?
Bill, he has made an impressive run, starting all the way back in 40th, just outside the top 10. Now, Wally mentioned earlier, it seems like the longer the 20 car runs, the better it gets, and that's exactly what Tony told his team under the last caution. Just seems like we need a long run to showcase what this car can do. They made a small chassis adjustment, and the car's really come to life.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a team effort on that group tonight. Of course, you can say that about all 43 cars that are here. Kyle Busch has 3 consecutive top 5 finishes at this track, and in the last 10 races, Jeff Gordon has the most points of any driver. Kyle Busch just 6 points behind Gordon, and he's out front at Richmond.
And he saw Junior run up there. He's going to go try it if he can get past the, say, in front of the 6 car here.
Now, here are the points as they run right now. Kyle Busch is the race leader. Denny Hamlin runs in 6th. But when we change to the next page, look at 10th and 11th. Right now, Mark Martin
is out
by 3 points behind Casey Kane. And again, if there's a tie, all 11 drivers will be in the chase. This is for 2nd, and Casey Kane is on a mission.
He is on a mission. And the last couple laps, he was running so high at 3 and 4, Alan. I mean, he was running as high as anybody's been running down there, so he's got to figure it out.
Now, they haven't figured out, Wally, and Casey told me that the whole strategy for the first 300 laps of this race was just to run up front, go out and find the points that they need, get the car up front, keep up with the changing track conditions, and figure out what position they needed to be in at the end of the night to try and finish the job. Well, they've been working on the car. They've made adjustments on every pit stop, and he is going to the front and trying to get as many points as he can.
And how would you sum that up, BP? What's he doing?
He's going somewhere.
Yes, he is.
I know he'd rather be on the top, but Harvick's also running a pretty high line in this race, especially after about 15 laps on his tire. He runs about the middle or up. So he kind of took that line away from Casey Kane, so Casey's got to go where he's not.
And that might be part of it, because Harvick knows Casey wants that line. Harvick looking back at Casey Kane.
They're coming up on a lot of traffic right now, too. There's 5 or 6 cars that are in a wide right in front of them.
Harvick got boxed in last time.
This is where you've got to be real careful. There's Kyle Busch. He's the leader. This is where things go wrong.
Yes.
Somebody gets into somebody, and all of a sudden it becomes a mess. Dave.
And Wally, as Kyle Busch actually weaves through the traffic as the leader there in that 5 car, talked to him earlier today and said, you know, you finished 12th last night in the Busch race. Didn't seem like you had that great a car. Did you learn anything? He says, yeah, I really did. He said, I learned what my car likes in the low line, and I learned what my car likes in the high line. He had been running the high line. Now he puts it to the low group to work through traffic. Seems like he did learn something.
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, if somebody's, obviously you've got a good line you can run here, but if other cars are running it, you have to figure out how to pass them. So he's having to use both lines right now. And his car is better than these cars, too. So, I mean, obviously, not as tough passing a guy on the low line for Kyle Busch than if he was racing a guy that was like Harvick or Kane or Burt. Their car is going to be a little bit better.
That's Sterling Marlin in the 14. Knocks him off the lead lap and leaves 33 cars on the lead lap. This is back about 17th. Casey Mears is 17th. Jeff Gordon 18th. An update on the 24 from Matt.
Bill, this is not the night that four-time champion Jeff Gordon had expected after qualifying 3rd, trying to work his way back to the front. Gordon said about 35 laps ago the car was loose everywhere. Now he says it is turning so much better in the center the corner. But at this juncture, he is 7th in the championship standings. Started out the night with a 102-point cushion. Now it's down to just 49th over the 11th spot.
Look at this for second. And it's still going at it.
Kasey Kahne is trying hard. These guys have been racing side by side now, which has let Jeff Burton catch up with the 31 car. He's going to sit here and kind of see which lane might be going.
Right about now, if I was the crew chief, I want to make sure Harvick knows he's in.
Yeah, I agree, and I would want to know I was in it if I was the driver. It just relaxes you and you have a little bit more fun.
Kasey just can't get that grip in that 9 car on the bottom of the racetrack to drive off and drive past that 29.
Yeah, all he's hoping is the 29 will slip just a little bit. The 29 goes in just a little bit deep one time and slides up the racetrack in the middle. Kasey Kahne will be able to take that spot, but so far Harvick hasn't made any mistakes.
But also, you know, by keeping him back there, Jeff Burton is a teammate of Harvick, and that's keeping Burton in the mix here to try and get the points from Kahne.
Burton's going to try on the bottom.
Ducks back in. Allen?
Hey, Kasey Kahne just came on his radio and said, hey, I'm in the RCR sandwich.
Yes, he is. Kyle Busch is the race leader. He's 2 seconds in front of that battle for second. 184 laps are complete, approaching halfway in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400.
He's going to try to roll underneath him now.
Hamlin gets the spot. Dave.
And the team very confident with this race car. They were going to bring a brand new car to this race, but when they saw that the gap into the chase was only 76 points for them coming in, they said, you know what? We're going to bring this car that we were reserving for next week at Loudon, New Hampshire. It's the same car they finished second with earlier this year, and Denny likes it.
And I tell you, Wally, he's working that bottom line as well as any car around here. Most everyone with these many laps on the tires are having to move up the racetrack, but not him. He's right down next to the bottom.
See, the 29 tried to follow his line going through there 3 and 4 and couldn't.
Harvick in that 29 car coming into this race. In the 2 previous races, 800 total laps. Harvick had led 439 of them.
Hey, what if he can keep that car on the bottom like that, BP? He's gonna pass a lot of cars.
He sure is, because no one else can do that.
Hamlin battling through some lap traffic now with Harvick behind him, and then Burton and Matt Kenseth closing into 17. Right now, Mark Martin is the driver outside of the 10-man chase for the championship. He's 7 points behind Tony Stewart. Mark really wants to get in, and on the Bank of America countdown to green, he talked about what it would feel like if he doesn't make the chase.
It means everything. I'm so competitive, and you know, like I said, if we wind up on the outside looking in tonight, I'm going to feel like I lost, and you know, it's not a good feeling.
Well, just about halfway this time, in fact. Mark Martin runs in the 13th spot. Desperately wants to make the chase. Marty?
Billy went on to tell me that there's only going to be one man who's going to be out of it tonight. He said, if I'm that one man, I'll feel like a loser, and I don't want to end up being the loser tonight. Mark said, though, I brought my whole family here. He has Arlene, his son Matt, lots of friends from Daytona Beach. He said, they're going to be here to celebrate with me tonight because I'm confident that we can make it. Right now, Mark is fighting a race car that just will not turn. He's very aware, though, of his position in the championship standings, and he asked for the 20 was running. They said, right now he's behind you. He's going to try and keep him behind him, but as you can see, he's having a hard time hanging on to that race car.
And a lot of speculation about what Mark's going to do next season. I can tell you for a fact, right now, Mark has nothing signed. Nothing with anybody in Nextel Cup, and has not signed a truck deal to drive for Roush Racing. It is not signed yet. Jeff Smith of Roush told me that today. So Mark Martin's future definitely up in the air. That's why making the chase this year is so important to him. Kyle Busch is the race leader. Kasey Kahne is second. Denny Hamlin third. Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, the top 5 at Richmond.
He wants that outside groove.
Yeah, 41's going to be in the way, though, BP.
Yeah, I'm afraid he is.
It's Reed Sorensen in that 41 car, battling to stay on the lead lap. Side by side at the start-finish line.
Kane led that lap.
I don't think he's led a lap today. That might be his first lap led.
I was just waiting for it to pop up, but yes, he did. He just led his first lap, 5 bonus points.
Didn't believe me, Weber?
You got great eyes, Wally, but had to check the computer. And we all know computers are never wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Kyle Busch looks like he's going to get by the 41. Tell you what, Reed's fighting hard. Because as soon as Kyle Busch gets by the 10 car, that's right there in front of him, Reed will be the second car a lap down in case yellow comes out. So that's why these guys are running so hard. They're hoping the yellow will come out so they don't lose the lap.
Scott Riggs in that 10. Now Riggs is a teammate of the 9 car. Both drive for Evernham Motorsports.
Boxed up in a little bit of traffic here. It gives Kyle Busch a little bit of breathing room.
Now Casey Kane goes by his teammate. Sorensen almost got into the 10 there.
I thought he was going to get in the left rear of that 10 car.
Caution is out. Debris in turn 3. Our 5th caution of the night here at Richmond. And as Alan was talking about, pretty much when these guys were starting to think about green flag stops. Field behind the Chevy Impala pace car. Pit road is closed. Matt Kenseth runs in the 8th spot. And while we have a second here, this was his radio traffic after he let a couple of guys go by a few laps ago.
Hey, Bob. Yes, sir. After I let guys go for free and they don't wave thank you, I'm taking them off my list. That's just rude. Young kids don't have no respect for their elders. Careful. Back when you used to spot for Kelly Yarbrough, now that was respect. Yeah, right.
That's Bob Jeffrey, the spotter for Matt Kenseth. There's Robbie Reiser. Last week at California, I said Robbie was in a grumpy mood. Robbie got a phone call from his 90-year-old grandfather, Elmer, and lectured him on why he shouldn't be a grouch. And the truth was, Robbie wasn't really being a grouch. He said, I just need to make sure my guys are fired up. I got to keep them on their game. We're in the chase. I don't want them letting down. But Matt Kenseth did come on the radio during that practice session and said, Robbie, if your attitude doesn't improve, I'm going to come in and use an attitude adjustment tool on you. So, Elmer, your grandson's doing a great job. Robbie also said his wife called him and asked him about it, too. So you know they're watching.
All right, here we go. Pit stops. Very important pit stops.
Marty?
Well, guys, 33rd to 7th for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He says the car is sliding the nose just a little bit too tight in the corners. Won't cut the way he wants to, but said don't make too much of an adjustment because I don't want to be too loose. Half pound in the right rear tire. Wally said ooh, so something must have big happened. And also a wedge adjustment. Alan?
Casey Kane pitting from 2nd place. A 4-tire change, wedge, and track bar adjustments trying to help this car cut through the corners. Dave?
Kyle Busch, no changes to the car. The leader liked it. 4 tires, and he is gone. Matt?
And the 20 of Stewart and the 24 of Gordon, already service has been completed. Stewart's car was loose on the gas, was starting to come around, but he needed help from center off. They made an air pressure adjustment. The same for Gordon. His car was loose everywhere, and he was close to his bubble position. Remember, he has to finish 25th or better, no matter what anyone else does, to clinch his spot, and he was in the 22nd position right before that caution.
You saw the Nextel race off of pit road. Nextel celebrating speed, teamwork, and getting things done instantly.
Once again, Jeff Merkel, Jackman on the 16, making a chassis adjustment on the right rear. Around the left side they go. Now, I love these guys. Poetry in motion.
Denny Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson, and Casey Kane. All drivers in the chase or trying to make the chase are the 7 different race leaders. Our Napa field summary. We're working our 5th caution period of the night right now. The field has gotten the 1 to go, doubling up down the backstretch.
I don't think they better go yet.
I'm just telling you, that's what they were telling. That's what they said. You don't think it'd be good to run with that truck right there?
I don't think that'd be good.
No. So with that safety vehicle out there, the lights on the pace car back on. And there you see the championship standings that we just talked about. Right now, Tony Stewart 12 points out in the 11th spot. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. So we wait for the field to line up behind the pace car, and the lights have gone out, so we'll just stay here for the restart. Make sure there are no safety vehicles on the track. NASCAR has it cleared, and we're ready to go.
Well, there's a lot of cars now, BP, a lap down or more on that inside. It makes it a lot tougher if you're sitting back in 10th spot like where Mark Martin is. You're really starting at 20th spot.
He's exactly right, especially if your car isn't perfect.
Kyle Busch, the race leader. 26 cars on the lead lap. Scott Riggs was the lucky dog.
Whoa, the 9 car slides up the racetrack there, and he gets a little bump from the 11 of Denny Hamlin. I think that car appeared to be really good on fresh tires and low pressures, Benny. I think he's going to have to get a few laps before that thing goes. And it looked like earlier that the longer they went, the better that car was. So he's got to clear that 41 of Sorensen so he can use the whole racetrack.
Meanwhile, Kyle Busch is gone.
He's checked out.
He is simply driving away, but now finally Casey will be able to get down to the bottom of the racetrack and use the entire racetrack.
Maybe. It's Reed Sorensen in the 41. You're right, BP. Casey got around him. But that 9 car wasn't very strong on the restart, and that held everybody up.
Yeah, they are stacked up all the way back to the end of the field right now. They're practically running side by side.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 7th. An update on car 8 from Snyder.
It only gets better as the race goes on car-wise, but this whole points thing, it's starting to get to Junior.
Let me know when I ain't got to worry about the chase no more. All right, I'll stand for him. You ain't got to worry about it no more. Somebody falling out that we had to beat or what? I mean, I need to quit worrying about it. It's killing me. It didn't even bother me up until I got in the car. You're fine. As long as you got cars behind you, you're good. So just keep doing what you've been doing all night. It'll take care of itself.
Tony Eury Jr. was trying his best to keep him calm, but Junior was like, come on, dude, be serious with me. Tell me what I need to know about the chase. But he never gave him a straight answer for 2 minutes. Kept asking questions, and Junior never got a straight answer.
16th or better, and Junior would lock in. Right now, he runs in the 7th spot.
See, that's what I was saying earlier. When you're driving one of these cars, you're in this position, you want to know. You want that pressure taken off so you can go out and just, I bet you he would drive harder and have more fun if he knew he was locked in. But you're on pins and needles right now. You know that if you make one little mistake, you could take yourself out of this chase. And tell you what, it's stressful. It's different driving a race car when you're in this position than if that pressure is off.
I wonder if Harvick knows. Hey, Alan, does Harvick know he's made the chase yet?
I have not heard them tell him, VP. I'll go double check with Todd in case I missed it checking on another story, but I haven't heard him tell him. And like I said earlier, Kevin told me he didn't want to know, not for a while.
Kevin Harvick has locked himself into the chase. I talked to Tony Eury Jr. of California, and I asked him how Earnhardt Jr. was handling it, and he goes, right now, fine. But a couple of weeks ago, I had to sit him down and tell him, just go out and drive the race car the best way you know how, as best as you can do it. We'll do our job. If we don't make it, there's nothing we can do about it. But just relax, go out and race as hard as you can. He said that Junior seemed to take that to heart, obviously, until he got in the car tonight. Stewart back in the 17th spot.
And I think, too, you want to know, when you're out there racing and it's green, you're doing your job.
Right.
But when you start thinking about it is when you're under caution and you start looking at that scoreboard on the backstretch under yellow and you're
Pylon
seeing,
racing.
exactly, pylon racing. You don't know what's going on. What's going on, Matt?
Right now, Tony Stewart searching, trying different lines to see if he can work his race car into a better balance. Stewart just having issues too tight in the center. Now, keep in mind, this is their backup car, which is an older generation short track car. Yes, it won the race at Martinsville earlier in the year, but the car he wrecked Friday was a new generation that they spent 2 days testing with at Milwaukee. The stuff they learned there could not transfer over to this car, so they had to take time during final practice to try to tweak and dial in this race car. Still trying to work on it at this juncture, running in 20th.
Did not have a good qualifying run, did not have a chance to scuff tires, did not have a chance to make a mock qualifying run in practice because they had to unload the backup. That's why Tony started back in 40th. Right now he's in 17th.
Check out Dave Blaney in that 22 car. He's trying to get by Burton and Hardy and move into 4th.
It's 4th, 5th, and 6th right there. Harvick, Burton, and Blaney. Tell you, you come to Richmond, you see a lot of fun racing. Kyle Busch is out front after 241 laps in the Chevy Rocket.
Leaking water, you can see on the front of that car.
The nose, he's coming at you now. 2 turns him back there.
They seem to think they know what happened from our chopper.
Looks like the 48 of Jimmy Johnson is going to turn him around. Kind of looked like the 66 slowed down, didn't it?
Sure did.
48 wrecked.
Well, I think he slowed down because of the 7.
Yeah, it's possible. Got out of the gas for the 7. We talked about that earlier. Stuff happens in front of you here, and everybody starts checking up. Hard to stay out of somebody. Oh yeah, the 7 drifts up the racetrack in front of Jeff Green. Jeff Green just rolled out of the throttle.
Clear.
Now we got all kinds of great angles on this one.
Best Buy on board cam. Pit road is closed.
That's too bad.
Jeff Green back to the garage in his Best Buy ride.
Jeff was running a 17th or 18th spot there when that happened.
Reed Sorensen will be the lucky dog. Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Dave Blaney, the top 5. Then it's Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, and Ken Schrader in 10th. Tony Stewart is 16th. Jimmy Johnson 18th. Jeff Gordon has fallen all the way back to the 23rd position. Right now, Tony Stewart is the man out of the championship race, 10 points behind 10th place Mark Martin.
Well, they're probably going to make a pit stop and change tires. And you know, you probably could make it to the end of the race.
Exactly,
from here.
you're exactly right. And you know what, BP? Somebody
will try.
Yes, sir. And pit road remains closed. So the field stays out on the track. $107,000 fans are here, the 30th consecutive sellout.
You know, but I don't want you to be the last guy without tires. You know, that's my biggest deal. He got 23 laps on him. How are we on fuel? Nobody can make it. You're like 25 laps short from making it on fuel. So you got to stop here in probably 25 laps. The caution comes out because you can make it. You know, kind of like the deal did last time.
Okay, so they can't make it from here.
The thing is, you'd rather stop under yellow than you would at green. So now's the time to do it.
But remember, Kevin Harvick lost the race here in the spring by not pitting.
That's right.
And Earnhardt Jr. came in, got tires, went back out, won the race.
Okay, well,
It's open. Pit road is open. Here I come. Here I come.
They're all coming down pit road, and Marty, they're coming to you first.
Yeah, Bill, you heard the debate with the 8 team as to whether or not they wanted to stop at all. They debated on not coming down pit road because the car just started to come to Junior. Instead, they are going to come down pit road, take on 4 tires here, and take on fuel. Junior did say under that caution, 2 tires would not be a big deal if you want to try it later on. So take the 4 tires here. Alan?
Casey Kane and his team director Kenny Francis debating on changes. They made a small one to try and make the car like it was on the previous run, Dave.
As Kyle Busch exits turn 2 and 4, the car doesn't turn well. A track bar adjustment to help that. Matt.
The 2 chasers of the Gibbs stable, the 11 and the 20. Now Stewart's team instant messaged their teammate and told them that they are just way too tight in the center of the corner. Smoke also has a throttle issue. He has to pull it back when he makes his entry into the corners with his toes. It's not hurting him, but it certainly isn't helping him.
Let's take a look at the race off of pit road. Kyle Busch beats Casey Kane.
Quapple trying to get underneath Schrader so he can get a lap back. So he's digging hard.
We're working lap 263 this time. 263 are complete. Schrader, Mears, and Newman all last stopped on 221. We were talking about 30-lap tires not being too good against fresh rubber. We're going to find out. Elliott Sadler in the 19 took 2 tires. Robbie Gordon in the 7. 2 tires on his stop.
So Quapple and Jarrett are now on the lead lap. Thanks again by Kenny Schrader.
Boy, and it is a mess behind these guys. Look at that. Here comes Kyle Busch inside of Mears.
He's been able to get by the 12 car of Newman by Mears.
And he'll blow by Schrader here with those 4 fresh tires. '21-year-old Kyle Busch back to the lead. Tony Stewart runs 19th. Jeff Gordon is in 24th. Right now, Stewart in that 20 car, 11th, 9 points behind Casey Kane. An update on the 20 from Matt.
And you're watching Tony Stewart up in the left-hand corner of your screen now. Up on top of his pit box, team manager Jimmy Maycar, as well as engine tuner Jared Egan. They do have some concern just because of the other issues that a couple of the Gibbs cars are experiencing. When the instant message popped up, motor issue from the 11, you could see not only are they concerned about trying to lock themselves in, currently 11th right now in points at this part of the race, lap 267. But, you know, a lot of times we've seen when one corporate teammate has a motor issue, we've seen it carry on to another teammate, so there is concern.
Thank you, Matt.
And that's position. Elliott Sadler in that 19 car.
Ooh, it's ugly here.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Mark Martin in the 6, Denny Hamlin in the 11. Mark just got 9th. Let's get an update on Hamlin from Dave.
And Bill, they decided to stay out this time. Competition director Jimmy Maycar was on the line with him. Denny said the sputtering is back and it's bad. And by the way, remind the guys behind me on the restart not to run over me. He got a good restart and so far hasn't said anything. The car appears to be still racy.
This is big for points right here. Burton, Hamlin, Kenseth is there. Martin's right in front of him. Right now, Jeff Burton 10th in the championship standings. On board with Burton. Denny Hamlin enjoying an outstanding first full year in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. And this weekend, he told us being a rookie has some advantages when it comes to trying to make the chase.
I
think my inexperience with this whole chase format has almost been a benefit to me more than it has anything. You know, a lot of these guys I'm racing have been in this situation before and kind of know how to treat it. And I'm just the guy who's kind of just going for broke all the time. So, you know, it's really great that we're in a position that we are to be able to fight for this chase. And I think if we can get in, we're going to be a contender.
Benny, you know the guys on that crew would love to see their driver get them into the chase because of how much they enjoy working for him.
Oh, they love that young man. Even last year when they first started driving the car, you walk by those guys and you could just see the enthusiasm on their faces.
Dave?
And they bonded earlier this year over a unique situation, Bill. Remember the test at Charlotte where Denny was goofing around after they got done with it and ripped his left pinky finger nearly off. The ride to the hospital, the moving of Denny's car back to his house, trying to find Denny's house. These guys have a lot of stories from that experience, and Denny was motivated that day, actually the next week, to race here at Richmond, and that improved their relationship with their young driver. Just something weird that happened, and they all lived it together.
Everybody at Richmond chasing Kyle Busch. Casey Kane runs second. Harvick, Schrader, and Mears, the top 5 in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Laps out there, didn't they?
Yeah, they were going at it pretty hard.
Were you watching that, Marty?
Yeah, they were going at it pretty hard, and for a while, the 12 car was holding up the 8 car. Junior talking on the radio right now about the contact. He asked if the metal was hanging off in NASCAR might say anything about it. The car for Junior gets better the longer they run. Clearly fast and going to the front. They're not too worried about that metal. They're hoping NASCAR's not either.
No, but I wouldn't want to run into it right now. That's a radiator killer.
Yeah. But if somebody hits him again, then he might have trouble with it hanging off. Closing in on the 100 to go mark here at Richmond. Kyle Busch out front by 1.5 seconds over Casey Kane. TNT Sports Live at the Richmond International Raceway, the 26th race of the NASCAR Nextel Cup season. The final race to determine the drivers that will chase for the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup Championship. And look at that. That's race leader Kyle Busch.
And not good for Jeff Gordon, because Jeff Gordon looks up in his mirror and he's about to get lapped by his teammate Kyle Busch.
Matt?
Bill, his magic number right now, he has a 48-point cushion over Tony Stewart, who sits back in 11th. The 24 car can lock himself in if he can gain one spot and just hover there for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, it just continues to take a turn for the worse for the 20 of Tony Stewart. Rarely does he talk on the radio unless the car is bad, and he's been doing a lot of talking. The car is so loose on entry, very tight to center, and just gives up so much on exit. He has told Greg Zipadelli that several times. He is formulating his game plan for what could be their final stop and have one last big swing in trying to get this car dialed in so they can get this car in the chase. Right now, they are definitely in the danger zone.
Yeah, they're about 3 seconds is all that's between Tony Stewart from being lapped by this guy right here, Kyle Busch in the 5 car.
And Stewart is 11th right now, as Matt pointed out. 30 points out of the chase.
And Jeff Burton has slid back to the 10th spot. And you know, but we've seen this a lot in the last 4 or 5 races where Burton has been dominant at the first part of the race. And Alan, it seems like when they get down to where it counts, they run into problems.
Well, right now, Wally, they are chasing track conditions. This car has fought a lack of front-end grip all night. And as they've adjusted to try and deal with that, it seems like the pendulum is swung over the top, because now it's the back end that's sliding around on this 31 car. Right now, they are still in championship position, but they're back in 10th place, and they could use another pit stop to make some more adjustments on this car to feel a little bit better about things.
And Jeff Burton even brought it up himself on the countdown to green about people talking about Indy and Bristol, saying there's more to it than that. But we'll see what happens tonight. You've got to finish strong here, or you might get locked out of the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. So it's Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, Dave Blaney, Earnhardt Jr., the top 5.
Oh, a little bit of contact there between the 5 and 99.
Robbie Gordon gets sideways, turning down to avoid the 99, getting off the 4.
Stewart gets trapped in there behind Robbie.
Now Stewart needs to get by Robbie. And he knows that.
Yes. By the time that's over, Kyle Busch will probably have lapped Elliott Sadler.
Right. Speeds at the line. We'll see what we've got here. It's a little tough to do this on the short tracks because if you get one guy that's in traffic, it's not going to represent really what his lap times are. But that lap, Mark Martin was the quickest.
And my hat's off to Mark Martin because he struggled with his race car, but they've made Pat Trice, the crew chief, they made some adjustments on that car. And the last 150 laps, he has driven that car as hard as anybody could ever drive a race car.
He's up to 7th spot right now.
You talk about hearing the passion and pressure in somebody's voice. Mark in the pre-race show,
yeah, Mark
was inspiring. Marty?
Well, somewhere in this mix is Mark Martin. There he is, Bill, and he's asked several times about Tony Stewart. They did just inform him that Stewart went a lap down. Pat Tryson has made several aggressive changes to the 6 car, and they've made it better. Several changes to make the car looser. The track seems to be getting looser as well. Mark said, I don't know if I can stand to be much looser than I am right now, but let's do it. One more step, a pound out of both left side tires. Pat said, that's as low as we can go on those left side tires, but we'll do it if you think that's the way the track is going.
85 laps to go. Kyle Busch continues to lap cars here at Richmond. Casey Kane is second. Harvick is third.
41 just slips up the racetrack a little bit, gets in the left rear of the 48 car, and around he goes. And Wally, for the second time, he's spun and hasn't hit the wall.
Yeah. Very, very lucky.
And he really didn't have any damage to his car until he got going again. And then the 66 car, Jeff Green, paid him back.
He's upset from an earlier incident in which he felt Jimmy Johnson turned the 66. The 66 has been black flagged by NASCAR. Pit road is closed, but Denny Hamlin is on pit road anyway, Dave.
Bill, he needs extra time, and so the crew is going to go underneath the hood to see if they can find out what the problem specifically is. They think possibly spark plug. He'd lost 8 positions during the last run, but it remained under power. It looks like they've got a... Now they're checking the spark plugs there, and they're going to get a penalty for coming with pit roads closed, but they needed the extra time to check and see what they could find out.
But they need to get off of pit road before the pace car gets there. They do. The pit road is now open. The field is on pit road, and the 8's headed for Marty.
And now there's problems for Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bill. He said on the last 2 laps that he ran, the brake pedal went to the floor, very soft. They're going to pull off right side tires only. Everybody on that right side has a wrench. They're going to try and see if there's a leak somewhere in the brake system. We'll follow up. Alan?
Casey Kane pits 4 tires, an adjustment to the track bar, trying to help the car's front end grip. He was having trouble cutting in the corner, Dave.
The 5 car is already gone just a quarter of a turn on the track bar for an adjustment. 4 fresh tires for the leader of the race.
Wow, what a pit stop by that 5 bunch.
Marty, they continue to work on that 8 car.
And they did find the problem, the right rear brake. So the rear brakes had no fluid in them. So they're going to try and fix that. They're going to get some fluid. They're going to come back down pit road and try and fix the brake problem. And all this while they're trying to keep him on the lead lap. Matt?
The defending series champion only has 70 laps to try to lock himself in to defend his title. They've already made, you can see Shaggy Larson, the car chief, already made the track bar adjustment. Jeff Gooch Patterson nods. The car is full of fuel. Also, huge air pressure adjustment. The car just so free for smoke.
Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon not on the lead lap. Major developments here with less than 80 laps to go in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond.
Car that he can. The problem for Junior is this race car has been tight, and that's really going to affect your race car. If you dial in more front brake to a tight race car, that's not what you want to do. Dave?
Denny Hamlin in that black number 11. They pitted 3 times under this caution. The spark plug wire that was failing was melted and coming apart. They weren't able to pull it from where it was held onto the spark plug. They couldn't get the boot off. They needed a pair of pliers. So they couldn't change it. They changed 4 tires on the car, but they needed another caution to get Denny down on pit road and change that plug wire.
Getting back to the 8. Right. The problem with doing that is he's going to fry those front brakes. If that's all you have is front brakes, eventually he's just going to heat those things up to where he's not going to be able to slow the car down. He's going to have to back off a lot earlier getting into the corner, and he's going to lose a lot of track position.
And you can see he's only 41 points ahead of 10th spot.
You also saw Hamlin going by him, and this is for the lead right here.
Kevin Harvick taking a look down on the bottom where he's been good all night long, and I mean just smokes by Kyle Busch that lap. So they made some adjustments that helped that car, didn't they, Alan?
Yeah, made an air pressure adjustment, Wally, and also changed the crossweight in the car with a wedge. And Todd Berrier, after Kevin left pit road, picking up one spot from third to second, by the way, told Kevin, we've got something we can go race with right here now. Well, he's taking the lead.
Can Earnhardt's brakes last 65 laps?
If they completely shut the rears off, I would say no. I'm not sure how much they shut off in the back, but you are hard on the brakes here. You need 4, not 2.
Jeff Gordon in that 24 car runs 29th. An update from Matt.
Shocking run by the 4-time series champion, just inside the top 30 now. Gordon, they just cannot find the sweet spot of the handling for the car tonight. They go back and forth between being too free on exit or too tight in the center, but there is huge concern in the 24 pit about making this chase.
Here's the simple way to look at the points. I'm going to give you the simple way. We just need to keep that 20 as close inside as we can keep it, buddy, and we're going to be good.
That 11's got the hood up down there.
He's got motor, plug wire, something. They're fixing it. Our deal right now is the 20. We got a little cushion on that 20, so I know it isn't good. I'm not going to pretend it is, man. Just do the best you can. It's going to be about 70 to go. Keep that 20 inside the best you can.
He floats between 25 and 33-point cushion in the car they keep talking about. Tony Stewart, he is all the way up in the 19th position. Neither Stewart or Gordon has led a lap to pick up those bonus points here tonight in the battle for the lead up front.
Harvick in the 29 and the 5 of Kyle Busch. We talked about it at California. Jeff Gordon wanted to clinch there because at Richmond he has not run well in the last 5 races here. That's 2,000 laps. Jeff Gordon has led just 22 of those 2,000 laps, and as Matt said, he has not led tonight. Kevin Harvick is the race leader, but Kyle Busch is all over him.
Boy, he drove that thing in deep, Kyle Busch did. Trying to get back up on the high side of the 29. He's going to drive on the outside, going into 1. I think Harvick is just going to let him have that for now.
So the Bare Naked Ladies run second on the racetrack. Wally's favorite group, Kyle Busch, the race leader at Richmond. 60 to go.
All I can do in here, he only has a quarter of a pedal when he goes into the corners. That's not a comforting feeling here in Richmond. He went the lap down. He's trying all kinds of things to drive the racetrack differently. It's not helping. Those brakes just will not hold up.
And we saw him working with the brake bias.
Right. The brake bias is, you've got a knob inside these cars that you can turn and put more front brake or more rear brake. The problem is right now he's got a lot of front brake in this car, and those rotors are red
in the corner,
hot.
but they look good down the straightaway. Look good when they come by me.
Talking about the rotors. Okay, the 8 has issues. How about the 11, Dave Burns?
He has issues, but so far they have not caused that engine to expire. Definitely running on 7 cylinders. That plug wire not allowing the spark plug to give its all, so 7 instead of 8. One thing to keep in mind, Bill, if he were to fail to finish right now, enough cars have, well, let me put it this way, he's not completely out of it. What happens to the rest of the guys in the top 10 at the end of this race would matter.
That's right. You can take a look at the championship standings now.
But you see, it's so doggone close from Junior back to Stewart. We're only talking about 50 points.
And you'd have to figure if Hamlin or Earnhardt fell out right now, it would be a crippling blow. Right now, Tony Stewart is the odd man out, Matt.
Helpless feeling down here in the 20 pit, Bill. 32 laps to go. All he can do is try to see if he can pick up a few more spots right now. The car not much better. He has been running in that 18th position, slowly knocking off a spot here and there. But, Bill, he is starting to run out of time.
Just 31 laps to go. Kyle Busch is the race leader. We'll come back and take you to the checkered flag in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond.
We also look back to any other factors that might help you, and yes, Mary Lou, his mom, Mary Lou Hamlin, figure still crossed. Please, motor, hang on, get my boy into the chase.
Tough enough on the teams, I can't imagine what it's like for a mom. Going back to Mark Martin, he can hear him, but he ain't listening.
Yeah, he is so
right.
focused
He's not
right
right
now. He does not want to talk to anybody.
Oh! I thought that Kyle Busch was going up the hill and going to make contact with the 11, but
I was with you on that ride, Benny.
wiser heads prevailed.
Tony Stewart runs in 18th. Matt?
Bill still 16 points out of making it into the chase, running in the 11th spot in the points, but he is still 18th on the racetrack, one lap down. And when you armchair quarterback this season, all you have to do is go back to May and the first part of June when he hit that huge slide, lost a lot of points and a lot of positions. He's fought himself back into the race, but it looks like as the clock is winding down on his chances for back-to-back championships, 19 laps to go, it is not looking good for Stewart.
He basically need to pick up 5 positions either way, whether it's Casey Kane losing a couple and Tony gaining some, but it's basically 5 positions right now.
But the problem is he's been losing positions.
Right. Kyle Busch. That tells you a lot right there. Has obviously clinched the bonus points for leading the most laps. Out front, 21 years old, trying to make his way into the chase for the first time. He's very humble in the garage yesterday. He said it's not the driver this season. It's been all team, all Hendrick Motorsports. That's what's gotten the 5 car up front. Dave?
And that race car came off the truck very fast this weekend. They tried some big changes, some different ideas to try to make it better. It never responded. Kyle said, well, let's put it back the way it was, because that was pretty darn good. And yes, it is.
You're not kidding. VP, I can't imagine. It's great to have a car like that, isn't it?
It is. And it only happens a few times in your life.
Nope.
But you know what? He hasn't run off and left Kevin Harvick. That 29 car is lurking back there, just 3 or 4 car lengths behind.
Yep. There's Jeff Gordon back in the 31st position.
About to lose another spot to Nemechek.
That's right.
Nemechek, he will take, I think he took that spot earlier. Gordon got him. Nemechek's coming back for it.
This is 2 laps off the pace. That tells you 2 things. The 24 car isn't that good, and the 5 car is that good.
Oh, Nemechek sideways off a 2.
Matt?
Bill, Steve Letarte told his driver, Jeff Gordon, the 01 is for position. Gordon says, my brakes are completely cooked. I'm just holding on. Right now, Gordon running in the 31st position.
So 13 laps to go. Gordon has a brake issue. Earnhardt Jr. has a brake issue. The 11 of Hamlin has a motor issue, running on just 7 cylinders. Update on the 8 from Marty.
He's doing the best he can, Bill. He's currently in 16th. He just asked Steve Mill and Tony Erie Jr., if I stay right here, am I okay big picture? They said yes. He said, are you sure? They said yes, you'll be fine. Don't worry about the big picture. No matter what happens, you're going to be okay. He said, good, because I'm exhausted.
Well, don't you know he is exhausted? Not only the physical strain that he's under, but also the mental strain that he's putting himself through in trying to worry about making the chase to the NASCAR Nextel Cup.
These guys are going to be different people going into lap because they're going to be so relieved after tonight that this thing is over. And like I said, I've been saying, this is harder than the championship itself. Making the chase is tougher.
10 to go. And you go back to what Mark Martin said here 2 years ago after he made the chase for the first time. Said, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And that was the year Mark came from back in the pack at midpoint in the season. Got his way into the chase. Casey Kane runs 3rd. Alan, he might be racing his way into this thing.
Oh, but there's so much tension down here in this 9 pit, Bill. Every time we flash those graphics up on screen showing those points, it gets a reaction on this pit box. They know they're in good shape now. Kenny Francis, the team director, keeps radioing Casey with his lap times, telling him you're okay, giving him the car lengths behind. To Dave Blaney, the next one to challenge him for positions, telling him we're good, we're good, we're good. They're hoping these last 8 laps go without any kind of a hiccup, and they'll have raced their way in barely.
Tell you what, if they do, they have earned it.
Something to think about. J.J. Yaley, a Gibbs car, runs 13th. That's 5 positions ahead of Stewart. And Hamlin has his own problem. He's in 15th. 3 positions ahead of Tony.
Is that enough?
No.
No, he's got to have about 5.
Six laps to go before we determine the 10-man field that will chase the 2006 Nextel Cup Championship. Tony Stewart is a 2-time champ, the reigning champion of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Had run so well. But the last 5-6 weeks, not a lot of success for this 20 car, and now they're on the verge of being locked out, unable to defend their championship, Matt.
Bill, many pointed to Richmond as a place where guys like the 20 of Tony Stewart, when you look at the guys who were trying to lock down a spot, all had finished first or second, but Stewart had really excelled here, winning 3 times, also twice in a Craftsman truck. When you look at his short track prowess, 23 top 10s and 46 races, but it just never came together for Stewart and his 20 team, never able to dig themselves out of the hole they dug for themselves when they wrecked their primary car, which was built special for here on Friday. Never able to rebound. It looks like they're going to lose out on a chance for a lot of money as season's end.
Harvick is right there now on the back bumper of Kyle Busch. And you talk about Stewart, you go back to the start of the season, 43rd at California, was 42nd at Charlotte with that hard crash, 41st at Michigan, 28th at Sonoma.
Tell you what, these guys are coming up on traffic right now. Kyle Busch is behind McMurray, and Harvick is just ready.
And you know,
take the opportunity.
And Kyle's going to make him do it.
Here we
down
go.
Low.
Taking the look. Harvick can't get down there because the 25 of Vickers is down there, so got to wait till they clear this traffic. There he is. He's got them down on the bottom. He slides up a little bit.
White flag is out.
Clear. 1 to go. Come on.
Harvick gets the lead as they take the white flag. Right now, Tony Stewart still the odd man out. Kyle Busch will get one more shot through 3 and 4. Harvick won here last night. He's already clinched a spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Kevin Harvick off of 4. Harvick sweeps at Bristol. At Richmond.
Awesome.
Where are we, Bill?
We're at Richmond.
You big
I got
dummy.
too excited. Got too excited.
Go ahead. You can give him one, too,
Come on, BP.
You big dummy.
Thank you. And there are the championship standings.
You know, the guys that finished 1, 2, 3 in 2005, all 3 failed to make the chase in 2006.
I think they turned the program around for Richmond.
Think he's happy?
Yes, he's happy.
He's happy as a bare naked lady.
And he's going to ruin Richard Childress's engine, but I don't think he much cares.
I don't think Richard cares.
Chevrolet congratulates Kevin Harvick and the 29 Monte Carlo SS on another great Team Chevy victory. 25 of the last 34 NASCAR manufacturers championships and counting. Chevy, an American revolution. Dave.
With Todd Berrier now. Todd, did you just show everyone who to fear in the chase?
I tell you what, there's a long way to go. If we win next week, we'll talk some junk. But this week, right now, we're just in it. We didn't gain any spots, but we're starting this thing within 10 points. And Kevin drove his tail off, man, so it's all about him.
Did you tell him earlier that he had clinched and gave him the green light?
No, I never did tell him. I mean, I figured, there's no reason to at this point. I mean, if I knew I knew y'all were saying it was good, but that ain't good enough for me.
You don't believe us?
Absolutely not.
Okay, these guys all worked their own numbers. Todd Barrier did, and in the end, they became the winners tonight, regardless of what our points said, Bill.
Thanks, Dave. Kevin Harvick celebrates here at Richmond, and he takes Richard Childress Racing back into the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship, the first Childress car. And his teammate Jeff Burton is in it as well. Casey Kane got the 10th spot. Kane was in 3rd place following the race in Sonoma, then 6 finishes of 22nd or worse dropped him to 11th. He has 3 top 4s in the last 4 races and got him back into the top 10 and into the chase. Matt.
Well, Bill, Tony Stewart has climbed from his race car. And Tony, you go back to Friday, 5 minutes into practice. Did that set the tone for the weekend?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, it takes 26 weeks to get to this point, but we just missed tonight. I mean, we couldn't get it to turn in the center, and all we did was, make it loose in and on the exit. But I'm still proud of this Home Depot team. They've done a great job. We still got 10 more races to go out and try to win. Just, wish the guys that made the top 10 good luck this year.
Can you describe the shot? Because I know a lot of people, when the season began, they felt like you were going to be the guy to go for back-to-back championships, and just the way this season has been a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, this is proof of how tough this series is, and how tough it is just to make this chase. So, it's a big letdown, obviously, but at the same time, there's 10 guys that earn their way in there too. So I just got to wish those guys good luck now.
This is the first time in his career that Tony Stewart will not finish 10th or better in the championship season points.
Thanks, Matt. Frustration for Tony Stewart, but excitement for 10 other guys and 10 other teams. Kevin Harvick's in victory lane. Alan Bestwick is down there.
Well, he's taking off the helmet. You see him removing the head and neck restraint, and here he comes. Here. Kevin, congratulations. You rode behind Kyle Busch for the longest time. Did you have the ability to pass him and were just riding, or did you just get to him in those last couple laps?
Well, Todd came on the radio and said, hey, man, try some rear brake. I put 5 rounds of rear brake in it and just started sliding it into the corner, and I don't know, it just all of a sudden started going good, and I found a little groove there. I could kind of pitch it in there and gas it straight up off the corner, and GM Goodwin Chevrolet was awesome. So it's I told you that's how you control your own destiny, is to win the race, and that's what we came here to do, and we did it.
Tell me about the actual move when you got to him. It's hard to clear someone here. Did you think you had him cleared when you finally did?
Well, I mean, I really didn't know. I saw him in the mirror, and I saw the side of his car and saw half of his car, so I was going straight, so it didn't matter. I was coming up with 2 or 3 laps to go, so it was awesome.
Again, congratulations from Richard Childress.
Yeah, good job. I got into him once down here, and I really didn't want to pass him like that, and I was able to get by clean down here. So what a night. GM Goodwrench, Snap-on, all these people, SKF, Emerson, Sherwin-Williams, GM Card, Team Realtree, Reese's, Sylvania, everybody that helps us on this cars, we appreciate it.
Now, I never heard Todd tell you over the radio that you had clinched your spot in the chase fairly early on in the night. Did you know from inside the car?
No, I was scared to ask. It's, to be honest with you, it was something where I figured as soon as I asked, something would go wrong, but it's all worked out, and we were able to win the race tonight and had a lot of fun doing it.
And he's now just 10 points from the lead in the championship in New Hampshire next week. Kevin Harvick, the winner at New Hampshire tonight. At Richmond tonight, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Alan. The NASCAR.com Superstore invites you to save 10% right now on its entire selection of merchandise. To get your discount, just enter the promo code TNT at checkout. there you see the championship standings. After 26 races, 10 to go, and the top 10 drivers will chase the NASCAR Nextel Cup in 2006. Matt Kenseth goes in as the leader. Tony Stewart will miss the chase this year. Car owner Ray Evernham. 2 years ago, he got Jeremy Mayfield into the chase with a win here at Richmond. Tonight, Casey Kane finishes third and races his way into the chase. Here's Marty Snyder.
And Bill, he is the man of the hour. Casey Kane, as you said, finishes third, makes his way into the chase for the Nextel Cup. Are you just glad it's over, Casey?
I'm just relieved. You know, I had so many things to think about if I didn't make it, and to make it is huge for myself, for Dodge, all the Dodge dealers, the UAW, and just my whole team. They did an awesome job. I'm glad I have Elliott Sadler and Scott Riggs as teammates, and just Ray Evernham, everybody at Evernham Motorsports, the engines, the guys building these cars did an awesome job all week long preparing, and couldn't be happier. Pretty excited.
Man, I've got a fast race car tonight. Did you ever allow yourself to go and race, or were you always thinking about points?
No, I raced the entire race. So about 15 to go, I knew I was not going to get second and going to hold on for third. I just took it easy and made sure I didn't do anything stupid and bring the car home in one piece. And you know, after that, it was just all about bringing it home, getting in the top 10. We were able to do that, and just want to thank Allstate Insurance, Valvoline, Siemens, a lot of the people that help us out. This is big for Evernham Motorsports to get in the chase again.
It's good to see you smile. I don't think I've seen you smile for 3 weeks.
I've been nervous.
All right, he's in, Dave.
And so is Kyle Busch. Improved his position going into the chase by 1, but lost the race. How are you feeling?
I feel like Kevin Harvick did here in the spring. Remember that? He was pretty dejected and pretty upset, and our car was so awesome tonight. We should have won that race, and we gave it up on the last lap. So just a shame for the way we ran tonight, but overall a great night for us, you know, to be able to lead that many laps and come home second with the Kellogg Chevrolet. That was pretty good. So, you know, this was Twisted Sister tonight. Everybody watch out for the Punisher next weekend.
Those are the names of his cars, by the way, Twisted Sister and the Punisher. You had asked, when does the 29 car fall off, when he was racing you at the first part of that run. Did that change the way you were running at all?
No, it didn't change the way I was running. I was just hoping that he'd fall off because I knew our car was better the more we went. But that run there was the tightest we'd been all night pretty much. We kind of kept adjusting to it, loosening it up for the center. And we even adjusted onto that run to try to loosen it up a little bit just in case, because we knew it was going to be a long run. And it was just a shame it got too tight there. But, you know, I think he was playing possum with us all night. I think he was just hanging out, knowing that he had a great race car, and was just kind of letting everybody go show their stuff and wear it out. And I guess we did that, and he was able to prevail.
The good news is you've got 10 more races to feel like Kevin Harvick does tonight. Good luck. To Matt.
Dave, a lot of debriefing around the 24 car with four-time champion Jeff Gordon. Well, first off, congratulations. After being out a year, you're back in the chase.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting. It's hard for me to be excited right now from such a poor performance tonight, but you know, it's what we did all year long to get ourselves in this position. I'm really proud of all the guys in the DuPont Chevrolet, and we know what it's like to be on the outside looking in last year, and it wasn't fun, but you know, because of it, it allowed our team to get turned around and get us in this year, so I'm happy.
Describe your night, though, because it was a shocker for a lot of people, especially after you qualified third.
Let me just say this. I'm really glad Richmond's not in the last 10. I don't know what it is we're missing. Obviously, we'll go to the notes of the 5. They were very good tonight, but we just could not hit it. And it's been like this the last 4 times we've been here, or 5 times. So, you know, man, I don't know, from handling problems to brake problems, it was a real struggle for us tonight, and I'm excited about the next 10 races to put this one behind us.
When the laps were winding down and you were hovering in the 28th to 31st position, there seemed like you could sense the concern on the radio. On a scale of 1 to 10, can you describe what it felt like?
Well, nobody came on and said you have to maintain that position, so I felt like, you know, we weren't in a real comfortable position, but we were maintaining. And I'll be honest, if I had to push any harder, I don't know if we would have made it. The brakes, we had such an issue with the brakes there at the end that I was just trying to get it home in one piece.
Unofficially, he leaves Richmond 31st in the scoring rundown, 9th in the championship standings. Bill?
Thank you, Matt. And up here we have Gordon 8th in the championship standings, but of course that'll all play out here. We'll get the official numbers shortly. So big night for these guys that have made the chase. And Benny, I know you're looking forward to these next 10 races. You've got to take off here because you're going to get home tonight, but exciting night.
A very exciting night. And I mean, how much better can you get? You have a pass for the lead on the last lap, and Casey King races his way into the chase for the Nextel Cup. I mean, how much better can he get?
And do you get a feel for what you're going to see? Obviously, you and I have talked, and Wally, you too. BP, we talked about Kenseth. Obviously, Harvick now running strong.
Right now, I think Matt Kenseth is the guy that has the momentum going for him. But this racetrack, if you run well at Richmond, you're going to run well at Loudon, you're going to run well at Phoenix.
Right.
2 out of the 10. So Kevin Harvick is going to be awfully good.
All right. Good seeing you.
Good to see you, fellas.
Take care of yourself.
MVP.
We'll be here for another hour, a complete post-race wrap-up from Richmond, Virginia. Kevin Harvick won the Busch race on Saturday. Kevin Harvick wins at Richmond. Kevin Harvick with the weekend sweep. For our post-race show from the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Let's go down to Alan Bestwick.
Well, I know Kevin Harvick's pretty happy that he won the race tonight, but there may not be a happier guy on the grounds than Mark Martin, who is, maybe happy's not the word, relieved more the word, Mark?
I'm relieved, man. I just want to thank all the fans out there for all the 19 years, but especially for this year. The overwhelming support that you guys have given me has been fantastic, and I can't describe what it means to me. It was a great night for our AAA Fusion team. Pat Tryson and all the guys on pit road really redeemed themselves for sure. And I got up on the wheel, and halfway through the race, I really thought we were done for. And we made one last little adjustment that I never dreamed would have made any difference. 2 runs to go, and it set the car on fire. And it's just I hate it so bad for such a great champion and one of the probably the greatest driver of this era. Tony Stewart didn't make the chase, but somebody wasn't going to make it that deserved to be in it, and we're glad to be in.
When the car got hooked up and took off, was there ever a point in this night where you felt comfortable we're going to be okay?
Yeah, it got to looking really good there with about 30 to go, but, a caution changes everything. And, these cautions are just horrible nightmares with double foul restarts and people gouging, and it can all go up in smoke on one of these crazy restarts, man. And my car had not been good on the long runs earlier in the night. In that last run, it kept getting better and better and better, and it was like, man, this is perfect. If it'll go green all the way, it's going to be like falling off a log. And heck, we were fixing to get Junior in another lap or 2. Our car was really good at the end of the race, and I just want to thank Jack and our team and our sponsors, Pennzoil and Kraft, and all the folks that have supported us. We're in, and I promise I'm going to have fun the last 10 races.
This has been stressful leading up to this point, hasn't it?
It's been awful. It's been awful. I've been everything but sick, and maybe even sick for about 6 weeks now. I wanted it that bad, and we've had some tough times, and there's been a lot of pressure, and we stepped up to the plate tonight and got it done. And we might really put on a charge and make this thing exciting, and we might not, but we're in it, and I'm proud of that. 16 of the last 19 years in that 6 car, we've been in the top 10, and I'm proud of that record.
5th place tonight, Mark Martin. He is in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Matt.
Stressful night for Jeff Gordon, but his teammate Jimmy Johnson, you'd already locked yourself in, and especially the way your night went, that had to be such a huge thing for you and this team.
Yeah, it was. Tonight was just a bad night for us. I think we had a car to run the top 15, top 10, but we had some problems on pit road getting trapped into our stall. The 49 kept coming in late, and I got trapped in my stall and had some issues with that. And I wasn't fast enough to really run away from the leaders, and before I knew it, they were to me, and I held them off a couple times and finally got down a lap. But I run into twice and spun out, and then I ran into the back of the 66, just a mistake on my part, and I know he was upset and mad, but hopefully, tomorrow I can get a hold of him and get it straightened out. But just a tough night of racing. Like I said, I got spun out twice, and I spun someone else out and got trapped in the pits twice, and we just couldn't get any luck and get anything going tonight.
You've been waiting so long to finally get here, the chase is now beginning. Now you can really go game on.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be a really interesting chase, I think. We got 10 great teams, 10 great drivers, and I'm really looking at it as, I got 10 races to beat 10 guys, and just focus on those 10 guys and have some fun out there. I've got a great race team. I couldn't be more proud of what they've done all year long. We've grown, we've matured, we've really shown a lot of strength, and I'm very proud of this Lowe's race team and look forward to the chase.
5th twice, 2nd twice. When you're looking ahead to the next 10 races, though, what are some places that you feel like maybe are some concerns or highlights on your schedule where you feel like you guys need to step it up?
I think the chase is good for the 48 team. I think the one wild card race that I always worry about would be Talladega. So hopefully we can get out of that race clean. I would say New Hampshire and Phoenix might be the weaker tracks for us, but everything else really works good for the 48 team. I can't wait to get to Martinsville. It's a tough track on some guys. It's really good for myself, and I know for the 24. So at the end of the year, we just need a Hendrick car and to be a champion. Hopefully it's a 48.
And the good news, you're only 5 points out of first.
I know, that's the best thing that's happened to me all night long, so I'm looking forward to it.
Jimmie Johnson starts the chase, 2nd in the championship standings.
Thanks, Matt. Jimmie Johnson hoping to chase down his first Nextel Cup championship in the 2006 season.
Jimmie Johnson's going to win the 48 Daytona 500. At the stripe, it's Jimmie Johnson winning here at Las Vegas.
Checkered flag is in the air. Jimmie Johnson wins at Indianapolis.
We did it.
Denny Hamlin for his 2nd career win. He sweeps at Pocono. What a season for Denny Hamlin, and now he gets to chase the championship. Dave?
And with the young man right now, okay, this started out as a pretty good night on the pole, and then around lap 250 or so, what were you thinking?
Oh man, my heart just dropped. To have that motor problem again. I've had it at Phoenix, I had it at Indy, and I was just like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to have a mechanical failure, and but it was just something we couldn't help. A piece of rubber flew up and got under the headers, and then burnt the spark plug wire all the way through. So 7 cylinders, finished at 15th, and moved up in points. That's it's still a great day for us.
So the wires were located okay, but when you get some kindling under there, that's what the problem is.
Yeah, when you light a torch under them, and they don't work too well. So yeah, it's just it was one of those bad luck, good luck days, and it's finally over with now, and we get to go out and celebrate and enjoy the rest of the year.
I'm asking your mother to join us because let's take a look at those good luck charms one time here, Mary Lou. Come on in. Yep, see, there they are, ladies and gentlemen, still crossed. She does this, right?
All the time. She has for the last 2 years. When she wakes up on race morning, she crosses them. She eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner with her fork, with her fingers crossed. So it's really great that I've got a family that's so supportive, and it's been a long road to get here, but now we're in the chase for Nextel Cup.
And Dennis, your dad, said that he had to look down for about 150 laps, so he was nervous too.
Yeah, I was really concerned about the car. The thing about it is once we realized it was just a plug wire, it wasn't some internal that was going to end up breaking the car permanently, I was a little bit more at ease. And we still were able to keep up pretty good even on 7 cylinders, but I would have loved to run better in front of my hometown crowd, but to be in the chase in front of them is great.
You are a rookie in this series. You have a chance to run for the championship now. What do you think of that?
I don't know whether we were predicted to be here or not, but the thing of it is we got here by running solid and running good, and I feel like we're as strong as contender as anybody is. I mean, we run consistently in top 10 every week, seems like, and Mike and the guys just do a great job. The team's gelling great, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. We're not stressing ourselves over it, but now that the pressure is off, we can go out and we can have fun because at worst we're going to end up 10th, so we're going to go for the Hail Mary, try to win this championship.
And Dennis, I know your son has told us before how much you all have given up over the years to help him be successful. What do you think now about him with this shot to be champ?
Well, I'll tell you, it wouldn't have mattered to me if you took the fame away, race cars away, money away. I'm so proud of the young man he's grown up to be, and what father could ask for anything more than what he is? I mean, I'm so proud of him. I just don't know what to say. They just don't make many of them like this.
What do you think? Well, what do you think about that helping you along with the development?
You know, we had a lot of struggles as a family and a lot of arguments, and there's been a lot of tears shed over, you know, how we're figuring out how we're going to get to a racetrack every single weekend. And, you know, it's not just my parents. It goes all the way down to Jim Dean and guys like Ron Roberts and different people that's helped me throughout my career when, you know, I just needed $5, you know, to help me get going. And, you know, this chase is about them. It's not all about me.
Something else for you to think about. A mentor and a teammate did not make the chase.
That's so disappointing to me. I don't even know what to say because, you know, I know Tony was part of this last year and he's the Cup champion. I was going to, you know, see what we could do to help each other throughout this chase. And, you know, it's very unfortunate they didn't get to, you know, be a part of this. But you know, I'll continue to be, he'll continue to be a mentor of mine and one of the guys that I really look up to.
Denny Hamlin grew up about 10 miles from here. He has raced his way into the chase, and he will contend for the championship. Marty?
I'm not sure, Dave, if the smile on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s face or the fact that he made the chase because of the fact he made the chase or because of the fact this race is over, because you had your hands full and were exhausted by your own admission for those last few laps. How did you hang on to that race car with just front brakes?
Well, we lost the rear brakes. We had a seal or something go out and burned the front brakes up with about 30 to go. So we was lifting at the flag stand just praying to get in the corner and get there without wrecking. So I don't know. Tony Jr. was letting me know what was going on with the points, so I kind of knew what I needed to do and where I needed to finish, and I could take it kind of easy. I didn't want to run the front brakes so hot the rotors flew off of it. So we just got lucky. We had a real fast car though. Aside from all that trouble, we had a top 5 car, and I'm real grateful for the effort my guys gave me this weekend to give me that kind of car.
You didn't believe him. You kept saying, "Are you sure I'm okay?" And the ones you kept asking.
Well, they got all this stuff to look at and all these notes and whatnot. And I'm sitting in there with nothing but a steering wheel. So yeah, it's a little frustrating inside the car when you ain't real sure. But I got to reiterate, man, my guys have given me such a great effort this year, especially the last several weeks. That's the kind of team we are to run in the top 5 and places like that. I mean, we've had some bad luck, but we're a great race team. I'm really, really proud of my team.
Last year you sat and watched everybody try and win a championship without you participating. Has this team matured enough to win a championship?
Yeah, the guys that we got on our team have a lot of experience, and they've been on a lot of different scenarios with different teams and whatnot. They've got a lot of experience to take us all the way and win the championship this year. Tony Jr. is one of the best in the garage as far as crew chief goes, so I couldn't ask for a better group. I think I can wheel it as a race car driver. You know, and that package should be able to do it. You know, we just need to make sure, again, the only thing that I'm curious about or concerned with is just the intangible things, the things that are out of your control that you can't control yourself, like wrecks and being involved in wrecks and mechanical failures and stuff like that.
You guys feel like you're peaking at the right time?
Well, we're all. I would like to think we are, but that would be saying we're not all around great race team. I think we're all around great race team. We just had some bad luck throughout the season. And when we make failures and mistakes, we realize what we should have done differently. That was the difference in 2 or 3 years ago. We'd make mistakes and failures and not know what we did wrong and how to fix it. So we're a great race team, and I'm really proud of these guys. I wouldn't want to go into this chase with anybody else's team in the top 10. I got a great group, and we're ready to get after it.
You told me 2 weeks ago, if we get in, we can win the championship. Is that because of the way the tracks lay out or because of chemistry you guys have going right now?
Well, the tracks are good for us. We're concerned with Homestead. Obviously, going into the last race of the season, if you have a chance to win a championship, you're going to be concerned about that track, but we haven't run good there in a while. We seem to have remedied the 2-mile oval problems we've had in the past, and we'll see what we can do when we get there. But I think this team can win a championship. We should have won it in 04. We made some mistakes. I made some mistakes. It rests solely on our shoulders why we didn't win that championship then. Last year was a totally different book, a totally different story. And we're back again writing the one we wrote in 04, and hopefully it'll work out for us this year.
Real quick, Steve Mill gave you somewhat of a speech before you left, before he left, you and Tony Eury Jr. What did he say?
Well, he's a huge part of my career.
especially lately as a driver. He's really he really has that knowledge and experience to where when you get in a situation, he can come up and give you 2 sentences, a few words, and set everything straight and clear your mind and point you in the right direction. That's one of his real talents, and he just knows that he knows what the situation is between me and Tony Jr. and wants us to realize our opportunity here, and wants us to seize it. And you know, I don't think that I love Tony Jr. and we're a great combination, but you know, every person on this team, Steve Mill included, is a vital asset, and without any one of them, we're not in the chase. So you know, he's a big part of motivating us and keeping us grounded and focused.
Bill Dale Earnhardt Jr. survives Richmond, now 6th in the championship standings.
Thanks, Marty. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon, 2 guys that missed the chase a year ago, are in it in 2006.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins at Richmond.
A 19-race losing streak is history. Jeff Gordon wins at Infineon Raceway. Jeff Gordon's going to score his first win at Chicago.
Chase, and guess what? Party starts right away. Earnhardt Jr. made sure the coolers were on standby so they could celebrate his appearance in the 2006 chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Let's go down to Alan Bestway.
And let's talk to the man who will lead the championship when the chase starts next weekend at New Hampshire International Speedway. That'll be Matt Kenseth. Your lead will only be 5 points, but how important were those 5 points to you to get a hold of tonight?
It's important. I think it's cool to go in as the leader. You know, I think every point counts. You know, if you're the leader, you got good encouragement to try to stay there. So I'm really proud of Robbie and Chip and everybody, you know, that builds these cars and pits them here on Saturdays and Sundays. They've been doing a great job. We've been in position to win a lot of races, and you know, we got 10 more weeks to go. So hopefully we can you know, keep it up and you know, keep up the hard work and keep our performance up.
You've talked a lot about momentum over the last couple of months. You've wanted it going into the chase. We're there. Do you have it?
You know, I hope so. Obviously, we had a couple good weeks, Michigan and Bristol, and last week we were probably capable of running 3rd or so, and with all the pit stops, then finished 7th, and we're pretty darn good on pit road. Tonight we were off a little bit. We had the car off a little. We're off a little on pit road, so it was just a little bit of an off night for us. So I'm sure we got a good short track car sitting home for Loud. I'm sure that'll run a little better in this one, and you know, I'm sure we'll be ready to get him on pit road too. So you know, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to getting it started and going after it.
Matt did finish 8th tonight. When you look at the 10 races coming up, is there a particular type of track or a track that you look at as a strength and you must capitalize on? And is there one that you look at as a weakness that you are leery about?
Not really. I mean, there's certain tracks you like better than others and you usually perform better than others. But, you know, I remember the first year when I looked at it, I was like, oh, man, that's going to be a bad track for us. That's going to be a great one. And, you know, we went to the great one and finished terrible and went to the bad one and finished okay. So, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. But, you know, it feels like Martinsville's always kind of a weak place for me. But in the spring, we were running, you know, 9th or 10th or 11th somewhere in there when we had some brake problems and dropped out. So you never know. You got to do your job every week and you got to keep working at it and just do the best you can every week.
People would like to look at the chase from the outside and say, well, there must be a lot of tension, a lot of nerves, and so on. You've been locked in to the chase for a couple of weeks now, so you haven't dealt with this. But what about next week and for 10 weeks? Is it a nervous, stressful time for you?
It all depends how you're doing and what's going on. I mean, I think part of the key to being successful in it is not to be a nervous time and just do things like we've been doing all year. You know, take it one race at a time, do the best you can. And if you do that, you can't really do anything, control the points anyway. You know, if you go out every week and run the best you can, try to lead lap, if you can get them points, try to finish as far toward the front as you can, the points will just kind of add up or subtract or do whatever, you know, by themselves. So I'm going to try the best we can not to get worked up about it, just go each and every week and do the job that we've been doing all year.
All right, we'll wish you well in these 10 races upcoming.
All right, thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
Matt Kenseth will lead the championship going to New Hampshire next weekend. Matt?
Jeff Burton scored a top 10. That's all he needed to lock himself in. First off, a little bump and run by Matt Kenseth, and now we're getting accosted by Kyle Busch in a little water fight, the Chevy boys. First off, you just looked at the points on the screen. You were surprised at how close it was.
you know, I wasn't surprised because I knew coming in here how close it was, but it's amazing to me how close it is. I mean, it's just such a great example of how this formula works. You know, NASCAR does such a great job of making the rules, and I mean, it had to be great TV tonight trying to figure out who was going to be in the chase, and it's just amazing that many people can be within that many points.
And I asked you moments ago, I said, okay, let's look at the chase, and what did you tell me about the race that's after New Hampshire?
I don't even know where it is. But that's that's kind of how I am. I'm one race at a time, and unless we go somewhere and test, I pay attention to the race we're going to in the next race. But I really don't know where we go after New Hampshire. But I know the position I'm in now with this team is that I don't have to worry about it. I know Scott and all those guys, they're working and they're doing everything they can to make sure we're prepared, and it's that's been a huge part of why we're better.
The past 2 years, the first race in the chase in New Hampshire set the tone for a lot of guys. First year, Jeremy Mayfield and Tony Stewart were involved in a crash. They never able to really recover. And then last year it happened with Kurt Busch. You have a lot of success there. Excited about your past history there?
Yeah, we ran real well there in the spring. I sped on pit road and got us in trouble. But it's now where we are is who can do the best job over 10 races. And certainly because it's only 10 races, each race is very important. So with us, what we're going to do is we're going to go to every race and pay attention to that one race, and that's all we can do is just try to do the best we can each and every week. But you have to pay attention to each race. New Hampshire is a great racetrack. I love going there, and hopefully we can get off to a good start.
How huge to not only have one Childress car in, but now you have a teammate. You and Harvick can try to work together, planning ahead the 10 races, maybe some different things?
Well, I think it's really good, obviously, for both of us to be in. We worked exceptionally well together, and the 07 too. The 07 has a lot to do with why we're both in here. They've contributed a great deal to this effort. So, I think that the key to this deal is teamwork. You've got to be able to work well together. Listen, Harvick and those guys are on a roll. I mean, those guys are going to be hard to beat, and we got to step ours up just a little bit to keep up with those guys because those guys are on a roll. But it feels really good to be part of RCR, to be able to go from where we were a year ago to where we are today is a pretty big jump. Now what we got to do is not lose focus and not forget about next year too, and that's really easy to happen when you've got 2/3 of your team racing for a championship. It's very easy to let next year slide, and we can't do that.
173 races without a win. Are you going to have to go to victory lane in the next 10 races to win the championship?
Just to be clear, I've been trying to win, okay? I've been trying, and all I can tell you is I think that what I've seen the first 2 years is you got to run well, and you got to put yourself in position over and over and over. You might not have to win, but you got to be in position to win a lot. If you don't, then I don't think you can pull it off. So do you have to win? No. Do you need to be good enough to win? Without a doubt.
And if he does go to victory lane and then also go on and score the championship, he'll be only the second Virginian to pull off a NASCAR Cup Series championship. Bill?
Thank you, Matt. Jeff Burton celebrating his way into the chase. 47-year-old Mark Martin was a star in the ASA Series. He won his first ASA race on August 19, 1978. It was the Red Bud 300 at Anderson Speedway. He led 15 laps and won $2,375. Now he's chasing $5 million. Well, you need a new scorecard for the last 10 races. Here are the championship standings for the 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup. They reset after race 26. Matt Kenseth is the championship leader by 5 points over Jimmy Johnson. It goes back 5 points for each position, back to Casey Kane in 10th, 45 points out of the lead. Dave?
Hey, this is Kyle Busch down here on main stage, Richmond International Raceway, with all the excited Nextel fans over here.
You got to keep going now.
I'm going. Hang on. Why you got to interrupt? Anyways, Dave, how was it broadcasting this race? Was it good making all your broadcast stations and whatever else you guys have written down on your notepads?
Yes, but I broke the first rule of broadcasting, which is never give someone else the mic. Okay, as far as you're concerned, not win the race tonight, but move yourself up in the chase. So weigh your odds here going into the chase now, Kyle Busch in the 5-car.
I think they're pretty good, really. There's 7 places that we tend to run really strong at, or we feel like we can run really strong at, and there's two races in there that we need to work on, Texas and Atlanta. We don't feel too strongly about those, but we feel like we can turn it around and try to run well there. And Talladega, that's just a crapshoot race for everybody. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm gonna base this on being championship contenders. Of course, we have been all year, so why stop now?
When one sits down and analyzes your gear, the word turnaround comes to one's mind as well. You kind of gave away races at Phoenix and at Charlotte. And after that, something happened. You guys hit a switch or something, and you really finished out the rest of this year up to this point. What happened?
I hit a switch, I guess. You know, I had a sit down with Mr. Hendrick and Mike Hilton as well, too. And we had a decent talk about just the way life should be and the way life is in general. And it's not all about you. You know, you have to go out there and respect your fellow racers, and you want to be able to have not only friends out there, race against friends, and not have any enemies. So that was probably the biggest deal for me, and just realize that you can't win every race, you can't lead every lap. We tried here tonight, but obviously it didn't pay off. So we kept it in one piece, we were able to prevail, but you know, also I'm glad that those 25 points didn't come into any effect. You know, we couldn't, with 25 more points, we wouldn't have been any further up, and nobody would have passed us if we had any more, so that's pretty good.
Kyle mentioning the penalty from the Charlotte race. How was it strapping into the race car after that? Was there a weight lifted off of you after you had those talks with Rick and with Mike?
Not really, because I knew that if I slipped up one more time, I was gone. So it was a pretty big deal. But, you know, it's just you live and you learn, you know, and the only way for me to learn is to learn from my own mistakes, really. And it's tough having to make them. You know, you see other people make them, and you see what kind of trouble they get into and stuff like that. But I guess you just don't really understand the severity of it until you do it yourself. So hate that that's the way it is for me. But you know, hopefully the rest of this year will turn out great, and we can go on and try to race for a championship with the rest of these 10 guys.
Your brother was the first one to win the chase for the Nextel Cup. Any advice come your way yet, or has he been kind of waiting until you were actually in?
I hope he's actually been waiting until I've been in, because I haven't heard anything yet. But, you know, today is a little bit nerve-wracking getting in the car, and once you get started racing, you know, it's pretty good. And once I knew we had a great race car, it was even easier. But to be able to come out of here with a second-place finish and to go on to next week at Loudon where we feel like we can run strong, hopefully we don't do what Kurt had happen to him last year there and get spun out early in the going and have a bad race for him. But we're looking forward to it, man. It's all we can do in order to keep this Kellogg Chevrolet up front.
What do you expect to hear from him? I mean, when he won the chase 2 years ago, what kinds of things did you hear from him, and what do you think might come your way from him?
Pressure was the biggest thing, just the amount of pressure that he put on himself and all that kind of stuff there coming towards the end of the year, especially in Homestead. I mean, I couldn't imagine having a wheel fall off and then having to go through all those tribulations in order to come back and try to get a good run or a good solid finish. I think he finished 4th or 5th that race, so it's still pretty good for him. But all in all, the pressures and just the way everything is and the nerves the way they are and things like that, that's what I heard first off. So I'll be curious to see what else he has for me.
And the advice combined with how you've been the second part of this season, think you can handle it?
I think we can handle it. I think we're pretty good. You know, it's not only me, but it's the team in general. And I've got a very strong team. They're competitive enough. They're determined enough where they want to go out there and take it to everybody and show who the big guys are.
And they are more on KB's side than ever, Bill.
Thank you, Dave. At Charlotte in May, Kyle entered the racing surface without authorization and threw an object at another competitor. That was Casey Mears. He was heavily fined, penalized 25 championship points, and put on probation until December 31st. Since that moment, he has really matured as a driver and harnessed his emotions. Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. sharing a handshake. Then the race begins next week. The main stage, and there's Matt.
Four-time champion Jeff Gordon locked in now with his shot at a 5th championship. But we were talking about as the laps were winding down, and a few things stuck out in your mind. Conversations with your crew chief and also lap cars around you.
Yeah, you know, I asked how many laps to go because I wanted the laps to wind down as fast as possible. I knew things weren't looking good for us, and really I was just really concerned about the brakes even making it to the end. I don't know what the problem was there, but I knew they didn't feel good, and you know, I didn't want to lose any more positions, and so I asked Steve, you know, how many laps to go, and he, you know, he's like 11, and so with his excitement, I was like, uh-oh. You know, there's something, it must be really, really tight. I mean, I knew we had fallen back. I didn't know how far back, and I knew things weren't looking good, but I knew some other guys were having problems as well. So, you know, it definitely was not the kind of night we wanted to have, but to be in is exciting, you know, to fight as hard as we did, not just tonight, but you know, all year long so far up to this point. I'm really looking forward to these last 10. I think even though we didn't perform well tonight, I think this team is really capable of getting it done in these last 10. I know everybody else is saying that too, but it
the chase format is just very exciting. You basically are on a almost level playing field from this point forward. And I look at these last 10 tracks, and I remember when they first talked about the chase, those 10 tracks have always been good tracks for us. And as good as our team is on the intermediate tracks, I'm feeling pretty good about things.
From an organization standpoint, to have 3 teams in the chase is huge.
It is, and Rick Hendrick was extremely nervous, and afterwards I think he's very relieved and very happy. I know that that was really an organizational goal that we had set earlier in the year, was to get 4 teams into the chase. Roush had done an excellent job of getting 5 in last year. And, I think that Rick's really relieved and excited to have 3 of his teams in there. And hopefully one of those teams can win that championship. We're certainly going to do all we can with the DuPont Chevrolet to try to get it done for a 5th time. Never done it with the chase format, so, that could be very exciting and something we've never done. And if we can't get it done, I certainly hope Kyle or Jimmy can.
That would be huge, because you look at your trophy case, you've got some special Winston Cups, you've got the silver anniversary Winston Cup. And then if you could add a Nextel Cup, that would be something no other driver has done, looking at the different types of cups that you've won.
Yeah, and we've got 50th anniversary for NASCAR Cup too, so we've had some special moments, but I tell you what, ever since Nextel and Sprint came on board with this program, they've just stepped it up to a whole nother level. Obviously the competition has stepped up as well, but when you have this type of format with just 10 races and 10 drivers, it is extremely difficult to get it done, and that just makes it that much more rewarding. Not to mention, it's a beautiful trophy that they have, a lot on the line, a lot of prestige, and we would love to have our name on that cup and to be able to say that we're not just a 5th time champion, but a Nextel Cup champion.
Jeff, you guys didn't make the chase last year, and the teams that don't make it say, well, we're going to start racing for the following season. That's right. In the last 10 races. You made big changes in your team with 10 to go last year. If you had waited until after the season to make those changes, do you think you would have made the chase based on chemistry and communication?
It's hard to say. I don't think so. I mean, I feel like we were going to make a lot of those changes anyway after the season. Robbie, and I and everybody on the 24 team had hoped that we would make it into the chase and we could get through the season together and maybe win a championship, but we just didn't perform. And once we knew that we weren't going to be in, we just went ahead and made those changes earlier and brought Steve Letarte in as a crew chief just to start getting him that experience of being on the box and us working together. And he's been at our team for 9 years, and so it seems like we've been working together for a long time, and it was really a natural how things blended together right away. But I really believe those 10 races are really what got this team turned around and excited when the season started to get ourselves into this chase for this year.
Hey, Jeff, this Wally, congrats.
Thank you, Wally.
I know you're going to enjoy sleeping.
I haven't been doing a lot of that for a while.
But, you talk about the last 10 races that, you guys are pretty excited about. But is there one track out of those 10 in the back of your mind that you're just a little bit worried about?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely Texas has not been a great track for us. Even though our intermediate program has really stepped up this year, we did struggle at Texas. We didn't quite have the package earlier in the year there that we do have now, so I'm looking forward to going back there, but it's still a question mark. We struggled at New Hampshire the last time we were there. The good thing is we have teammates that ran good there, so I feel like we got some good notes. But other than that, I mean, Talladega is always just that one that you just roll the dice. We run good there, and I think we can win there, but you just never know how the draft is going to work out. But I feel really good about a lot of the tracks that are coming up in the last 10. They all feel good to me, and we've won at pretty much all of them except for, I guess, Texas. And Homestead was good for us last year at the end of the year, so I'm pretty excited. I mean, I really think these last 10 are going to be good ones for us.
How much testing do you guys have left? I mean, you guys going to, I know you go to places that you don't race sometimes to try to learn some things, but you guys have some tests lined up?
Well, I don't know if we have any more wind tunnel tests coming up, but we have 7 posts running all the time, and sim stuff on the computer, and then I know we're going to Homestead. Other than that, I don't know if we have any tests left. I think that's pretty much it.
Jeff, did you see Danica Patrick sing the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at the Cubs game?
No, but I hope she did it at least as bad as I did.
You're no longer the worst.
Yes, yes. You know how much that has been haunting me?
Yeah.
I think I finally got that curse off my back this year, though, with that win in Chicago.
I think she picked it up from you, so congratulations, buddy.
Hey, thank you, guys.
And Bill, on the singing note, I think I'll just pass it back to you.
Thank you, because we're not going to ask you guys to do that. Jeff Gordon back in the chase for the championship. Take a look at the breakdown. Jeff talked about Jack Roush getting 5 teams in a year ago. Rick Hendrick has 3 in this year. Richard Childress has a couple. Roush with 2. Dale Earnhardt from DEI. Denny Hamlin representing Joe Gibbs. And Casey Kane gets Ray Evernham back into the chase for the Nextel Cup. The 10 drivers chasing the championship in 2006. Back to Richmond in a moment.
Today, it's Casey Kane's turn as his Charger takes the checkered flag.
Casey Kane is home free. Here at the Texas Motor Speedway, he takes the checkered flag and claims his 2nd win of the season.
Casey Kane's Dodge wins the Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Up front, again, it is Casey Kane. Caution flag is out, and it is for rain showers.
Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Denny Hamlin, the first rookie to make the chase for the Nextel Cup. Let's go down to Alan.
Casey just said, "Are you guys on the air?" I said, "Yeah, we're live." Casey, he's a growing boy. He's worked hard all night. He had to grab something to eat during the commercial break. I can't blame you. We talked to you earlier. You're in all week long, all month long. You've had to listen to, how can the guy with the most wins maybe not be in? What was that like for you?
It was tough. I mean, to look at why we weren't in and look at all the different things that have happened. I mean, you look at a few different things, but then you always come down as a driver down to what you've done wrong. And I've lost just some points in those 2 weekends in a row, and that's what you see on TV, and that's what, as a driver, you feel like you screwed up. And I'm just proud that I made it, relieved, and pretty happy for my team. I mean, those guys have done an awesome job all season long. They kept me in there, and Kenny Francis is the man. He does a great job up on that box, and in practice, I knew we had a good car. He kept making it better, and I was pretty happy with those guys.
Very quickly, can you win the championship?
I think we have as much momentum going into that as Kevin Harvick, as Matt Kenseth, as anybody going in, and we definitely have the most wins, and we're not satisfied with that. We want more wins, and we want to be consistent in these final 10, and yeah, we have a shot at the championship.
Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Casey Kane, he's in. Marty?
Kevin Harvick has decided that his back hurts. He wants to sit down. I was going to let him throw some hats in the stands. You want to do that real quick? We don't have a whole lot of time. Let's see how his arm looks. Throw him quick. Not very good. How far can you get? Very good. All right. Your teammate says you're the man to beat. You're on a roll. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think right now everything has gone really well, and we've been able to win 3 races this year. And momentum has a lot to do with what we do in our sport. Our guys are pumped up. We feel like we can win week in and week out, and if we can keep that momentum on our side, that's the most important thing to get through every week.
Did this serve notice tonight? Dave Burns asked this question earlier to Todd. Did this serve notice that you guys are one of the ones to beat?
Well, I think we have as good a chance as anybody. Our cars are running well. Our team is performing well. Our pit stops are good, so everything's going good. We feel like we have a good plan of different cars and the cars that we have raced mixed into the last 10 races here, and we're just going to lay the gas pedal down and go for it.
Interview number, I think 4,000 or so, right, for you since the race was over?
Yeah. Well, it's been a good night. Our GM Goodrich Chevrolet had the Bare Naked Ladies on it tonight, and to win the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 is pretty cool for us.
And Kevin is done with interviews, Bill, and he's in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Kevin. Well done. Appreciate you hanging around. Matt Kenseth won both races at Bristol. Casey Kane won the Busch and Cup race at California. And Kevin Harvick won the Busch race and the Cup race at Richmond. Our post-race coverage continues in a moment.